It's going to be a zero-sum, nasty Malthusian society. And it will push towards, something that's much more autocratic, much more totalitarian, because the pie won't grow. People will be much nastier.
So like most of my videos, this whole thing started because I made a huge embarrassing mistake. A couple weeks back, I made a video reacting to an interview with Peter Thiel. That's not even the huge embarrassing mistake, which was, shamefully, I broke one of my own rules. I saw a word I didn't know and I didn't look it up in the dictionary, because I didn't feel like it.
It's going to be a zero-sum, nasty Malthusian society. And it will push towards, something that's much more autocratic, much more totalitarian, because the pie won't grow. People will be much nastier.
So like most of my videos, this whole thing started because I made a huge embarrassing mistake. A couple weeks back, I made a video reacting to an interview with Peter Thiel. That's not even the huge embarrassing mistake, which was, shamefully, I broke one of my own rules. I saw a word I didn't know and I didn't look it up in the dictionary, because I didn't feel like it. It's a word Peter Thiel loves to say, Malthusian.
Sociopathic Malthusian. Malthusian calculus is the sort of Malthusian,
So I made that short montage for the video and decided to not look up the word due to laziness. But many viewers pointed out the significance of Malthusianism as it relates to Peter Thiel's worldview and said I should look into it. So I did, and those commenters were right. It is significant. Now, just a heads up if it wasn't obvious, this one's mostly a podcast with occasional visuals for sourcing. I write a lot, but making videos takes a long time. So between high-effort video essays like the Elon sequel I promise I'm almost done with, I'm going to be releasing some shorter research projects, loose thoughts, or whatever this is. Malthusian, according to dictionary.com, means something relating to or characteristic of the English economist and clergyman Thomas Robert Malthus. So that didn't really help at all. Why is this crusty, dead church and money guy from England so famous? Well, most of that would be his theories about population control. Says Britannica, Malthus thought that the betterment of humankind is impossible without stern limits on reproduction. Malthus argued that since humans' ability to grow and distribute food was far slower than humans' ability to create more humans, we, and by we Malthus would have meant high-status white men, should control which people in society get to have babies, and which don't. In 1798, he wrote a treatise entitled An Essay on the Principle of Population, which he originally published anonymously, but later wanted to put his name on because it became his enduring legacy.
The power of population is indefinitely greater than the power in the earth to produce subsistence for man,
said Malthus, probably in that accent.
That premature death must in some shape or other visit the human race.
Sorry, I'm done with voices, I think. So right off the bat, one thing we know about Thomas Malthus is that he was wrong. Today's English economists and clergymen, and also lots of other people in all sorts of places, are concerned about population decline. We, and when I say we, I mean humans, in fact, have an overabundance of food and declining birth rates. We have famine despite technically having plenty of food to go around, if only it could get around. But the problem is getting food, and let's also add in water, medicine, and clothing to the populations who need it the most. The people who own the means of production and the people who own the means of distribution are super abundantly wealthy. Like, let's say you watching this, hypothetically, think that ending world hunger would be a good thing. And let's also just say that the billionaire fairy tonight dumps $10 billion worth of hard cash on your lap. Well, that would be bad probably. So after getting reconstructive lap surgery, which you can thankfully now afford, how would you even go about getting $10 billion worth of food, water, and clothes to people who need it? You could use your money to buy enough food and water to last your whole lifetime and your children's lives and their children's lives. But to get a few months' worth of necessities to people in need, there are all sorts of gates and gatekeepers, many of whom want there to be an underclass. And these gatekeepers will use their money, power, and influence to stop your efforts. World hunger is a choice humans have made. Not all humans together, but a small handful of powerful, greedy, wealthy humans over time have made those choices for all of us, because they think they deserve to make choices for all of us. Thomas Malthus believes that a certain class of people, thankfully, the sort of person he already was, were wiser than lower-class people, and it was in the best interest of the peasants to heed the wisdom of the lords.
Malthus saw the growing number of poor people on the English streets, and he did what any reasonable thinker would do. He analogized them to rabbits.
We don't have to stretch all the way into our day to see that Malthus was wrong, by the way. His work failed to predict even the very near future, such as England's agricultural revolution, which would make food production far faster and more efficient. Time has shown that a country's population does not keep exponentially exponentially growing over time, it tends to plateau. I've been focusing on the negative, but Malthus's original treatise deserves some credit for its observations about population. Writing for Scientific American, Michael Shermer notes, it inspired Charles Darwin and Alfred Russel Wallace to work out the mechanics of natural selection, based on Malthus's observation that populations tend to increase geometrically to 4, 8, 16, whereas food reserves grow arithmetically.
Small arithmetic increases in food,
leading to competition for scarce resources and differential reproductive success, the driver of evolution. But that's all from a 2016 article entitled Why Malthus is Still Wrong. The author cites journalist Matt Ridley's book The Evolution of Everything in detailing some of the ways in which Malthusianism failed even at the time. For example, the English Poor Law implemented by Queen Elizabeth I in 1601 to provide food to the poor was severely curtailed by the Poor Law Amendment Act of 1834, based on Malthusian reasoning that helping the poor only encourages them to have more children and thereby exacerbate poverty. The British government had a similar Malthusian attitude during the Irish potato famine of the 1840s, Ridley notes, reasoning that famine was, quote, an effective mechanism for reducing surplus population. Surplus population. Would you look at that, honey? After our monthly population budget, we have some surplus humans left over. How should we spend them?
In the century before 1846, Ireland's population had grown significantly, and many English thinkers saw the famine as an outcome of Malthus's predictions. From this point of view, providing food or aid to the Irish was futile. It could only delay the cycle of misery until its downward swing sighed down even more people.
Malthusianism was the backbone of many eugenics arguments, for of course it's not that there were too many people, it's that there were too many of the wrong kind of people. And so, yes, I am beginning to think I have a sense of why Peter Thiel uses this word a lot. Like Malthus, Thiel is a high society figure who believes that too many of the wrong kinds of people are having babies. Like Malthus, he believes in the Antichrist and a coming Armageddon. Like Malthus, the certainty of divine destruction is baked into every calculus. There's an irony in the fact that these biblical zealots, who believe humans are not really animals but rather God's special creation, children of God, consistently underestimate that humans are clever, that we are different from our fellow primates. We have imaginations, can foresee possible problems, envision multiple solutions, and communicate with millions of other humans all over the world because of useful tools humans have invented. That same Scientific American piece quotes writer Ronald Bailey, who said, quote, Malthusians cannot let go of the simple but clearly wrong idea that human beings are no different than a herd of deer when it comes to reproduction. But, okay, like here's where it gets a little tricky when it comes to Peter Thiel. Does he believe in Malthusianism? Is Peter Thiel himself a Malthusian? He uses the word a lot, but in what context? As I noted in my last video, Thiel often avoids concrete language about what he believes, breaking up even the simplest of questions into discursive hypotheticals.
I think we have to find some way to talk about these technologies where the technologies are dangerous, but it's probably, in some sense, it's even more dangerous not to do them. It's even more dangerous to have a society where there's zero growth. My intuition is that that will end very badly politically. It's going to be a zero-sum, nasty Malthusian society.
It's like he's saying, if we don't get control of this stagnation, we will end up in a Malthusian situation.
There are intellectual questions. How much, how many breakthroughs are we having? How do we quantify these things? Like, what are the returns of going into research? There certainly are diminishing returns to going into science or going into academia generally. And then maybe this is why so much of it feels like this sociopathic Malthusian kind of an institution, because you have to throw more and more and more at something to get the same returns.
It's hard to tell, like, is he saying that it would be sociopathic to take a Malthusian approach? Or is he saying that we will inevitably end up in some Malthusian, like, what? But it doesn't really matter because Malthus was wrong. After all this, I maintain that Peter Thiel speaks in verbal spatter paintings. He's throwing out words in flicks and spurts to see what pretty patterns they make, but he has intentionally chosen this color palette. Words, phrases, and references to learned great men that conjure images of war, Armageddon, collapse, and stagnation. Nobody knows what it means.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
No, it's not. It
Gets the people going.
There, now it technically counts as a YouTube video. So, does Peter Thiel believe in resource scarcity causing the collapse of the population? yesn't. He sometimes intimates that he does not believe this, and sometimes he does the opposite. Does he believe that climate science is a real science? Well, there's several different things that one could say.
I always, the linguistic cut is always when people use the word science, I'm in favor of science, I'm not in favor of science in quotes, and it's always a tell that it's not real science. And so when we call it climate science or political science or social science, you're just sort of making it up, and you have an inferiority complex to real science, or something like physics or chemistry.
You don't feel that climate science is a real science?
It is. There's several different things one could say. It's possible climate change is happening.
What he definitely does believe in is the Malthusian notion of an elite class controlling populations of lower classes. He wants to ensure our world continues to be based on ruthless greed and hierarchy. He wants to ensure that most of us are forced into a lower class and stay there, especially those of us who are not white men like him. Though I might mention to my fellow whites, I don't love that phrase, but this isn't going to work out well for most white people either. What of white men with disabilities or chronic illnesses, or who just have different beliefs than the current administration? Perhaps like we should aggressively tax billionaires and soon to be trillionaires. We should do something legislatively about these destructionists whose livelihood depend upon expendable people and treating Earth like a disposable planet. What if you're a white gay man who isn't Peter Thiel or Peter Thiel's husband? You get what I'm saying. At the end of the day, Peter Thiel types do not believe in live and let live. They're not really libertarian. They believe that they deserve to live, and for the rest of us, our job is to make sure they live as luxuriously as possible. Peter Thiel doesn't want to make a better world. He wants to live forever. And that's it. That's more me introducing something. I'm planning on making a video about these billionaires' obsession with immortality, but I need to go to like the library and find some old books about Quest for the Fountain of Youth. But we saw it in the Raw Stouthit conversation when Peter Thiel talked about cryogenics and digitizing consciousness. This guy is very, very afraid of death. An interesting cycle happens with believers in God who do terrible things. They believe a God is watching them. They believe this God has standards and will punish those who fail to live up to those standards. And yet, they keep doing things that are, let's say, morally dubious, and God hasn't stopped them yet. In fact, they keep getting more blessings in life. It's as if God is blessing their evil deeds, unless it's a test, and they're failing the test. But the Bible is about forgiveness, and isn't it obvious by your actions that you have been forgiven? Changed verb tenses there at the end. And Peter Thiel has built up more of this faith-induced mania than the average person. Like, I have anxiety, and a pretty common problem is what's known as catastrophizing. Oh, great, I can't find my keys, which means I'm going to be late for work, which means I'm going to get fired, which means I'm going to be homeless, which means my wife and I will have to get rid of our wonderful pets, and then you just keep spiraling more and more about the consequences of just one mistake. Well, for most of us, that's not a reasonable way to think at all, and certainly oligarchs have way more room to fail than any of the rest of us. But in quite a literal sense, they have so much more to lose. And when you think about it, Peter Thiel's every decision kind of is a big Thiel. He's dedicated his life to ensuring that that would be the case. He wanted to be a big deal. He wanted to be in control of all the shit. And now he is. So now everything he does has very far-reaching consequences. And that's not mentally healthy. So he isn't mentally healthy. This was a gay kid raised Christian. Every single gay kid who is raised Christian has religious trauma. It's unavoidable. But now Peter Thiel is a gay Christian adult who funds and controls Christendom in America.
Boom. All right. I think that's a good point to cut it off. I'm gonna leave everybody hanging on this one. Not going to play the end of the video, but excuse me, if you'd like to check him out, this is the link here. Support, YouTube. Support YouTube, not the channel. Just support YouTube. Spend all your time on this platform. No, I don't mean that. Support the individual YouTubers though. Altworldly, 30K subscribers. Go give him a sub, give him a like, whatever, comment. Good stuff, good video. I liked it. I thought it was funny. He's got a funny delivery. Just another one of the weird things about Peter Thiel. What's going on, gang? What's going on, Goblin gang? In the chat here, Goblin Queen, trying out a new what do you call it? A catchphrase? Hey, big heads. What's up, big heads? I'm not sure what that means. I don't know what that means. Is that an insult? Big head? Is that like a Jamaican thing? I don't understand. But it's kind of, I get that it's like kind of catchy though. I would say that maybe. Yeah, you never guess how the video ends. It turns out Peter Thiel is the bad guy. This is Goblin Queen, by the way. This is the queen of the Goblin Empire, my girlfriend Ashley. She's in Miami right now. Showed up Miami. Welcome to Miami. I don't know how the rest of that song goes. Something like that. Ashley, shout out to you. I like this one. I like this little conversation. Why is Peter Thiel so gray? Because he's a demon. His blood boys are anemic. Anemic demon. Maybe both. Maybe all of the above. Both of the above. Globe heads. What's going on, globe heads? Globe heads, one of my favorite words. A noble spirit embiggens the smallest head. Like the stream. Oh yeah. Should I be encouraging people to do that? Like the stream, guys, please. That would really help me out. Oh, okay. All right. So now I guess we're making Goblin Queen do some kind of, labor. A way of flirting while starting a conversation with a significant other. Hey, big head. Big head. That's a flirty thing? Jeez, what the heck? Maybe no one's ever flirted with me. I didn't know that was what people said. Another potential definition here. What a chick from your past says when she texts you out of the blue because she either got dumped or is not receiving the attention she wants from the dudes she thought she could lock down. Hey, big head, what you doing? Who is this? Oh, what's up? Long time no hear from. All right, sure. And then this one is serious. Like, I feel like this is what I assumed it was. And I think this is the most correct, actually. Hey, big head, when you're talking to someone with an enormous sized head, an unusual sized head that's not normal sized. Hey, big head, friend with a big head. You talking to me? Yes. Who else has a big head? Fred. Oh, you right. I like that. Being in an interracial relationship means permanently having Urban Dictionary bookmarked. Oh, yeah? Is that what it means? Should I do that? I don't spend a lot of time on Urban Dictionary. Whatever. If I want to learn the new slang that the kids are using these days, or that have been using since 2018, perhaps, I don't know. I'll figure it out in context. I'll watch Hassan. If I want to learn more Gen Alpha slang, I'll watch Hassan. But okay, cool. No, I'm glad that was a nice thing, not like a whatever. I don't know. I liked it either way. Big head. What do we got here, guys? Welcome to the stream. Thank you for tuning in. I got some interesting stuff for you today. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna get through all of it because I found like a bunch of things that I want to stream about, but I also I kind of, sometimes when I stream, it's like I don't have a topic. I'm like, oh God, I'm scrambling to get it. So we'll see how long it takes us to get through these things. We'll see. I want to go through at least one or two different things today. So here we go. I wanted to start out with this new article out right now, out on the streets. Out on the streets. You got to look that up on Urban Dictionary? No. No. This one. The New York Times just dropped this. Oh, just dropped it, yesterday. Money, women, and taxes. Jeffrey Epstein's fiery friendship with a Wall Street titan. New emails show how Mr. Epstein pressured Leon Black, his longtime friend and patron, to fork over millions for financial services. So, Leon Black, that's him on the left. Let me get a better picture of the guy. Leon Black is, what is he? Billionaire businessman, private equity investor, former CEO of Apollo Global Management. I mean, I don't really know what this guy is. I have no idea. But he's the kind of guy that you just hear about in the news. But it's like at least with like Zuckerberg and Bezos and Thiel and stuff, it's like I know what I know they're evil and stuff. But like at least I have like some sense of like what they do. This guy's just like a private equity dude or something. He like I don't know. I guess he ran like an art museum of some kind. But this guy, he's been accused of sexual assault by numerous women. Numerous like. Geez, I think like 5 or so. Let's say 4 or 5. Several of them were victims of Jeffrey Epstein, who are what's the word? Allege that he sexually assaulted them like during a massage at Jeffrey Epstein's house. And he's on. He is someone. Leon Black is someone who I have put on my list of people who I am guessing would be on the Epstein client list if such a thing were to exist. But yeah, that's Leon Black. Kind of he looks like a silly looking guy, you know. Kind of looks like I don't know, like he could be like a comedic character actor or something in another life. But no, this guy is a billionaire private equity guy. What is private equity? This is another thing. Like I don't really get business. Isn't private equity where they just buy a bunch of companies and then they like basically like gut them and sell them for parts? Basically like what's happening to the U.S. government right now? Isn't that what private equity is? I don't know. But anyway, so this article came out. Oh, another thing about him, his son, Ben Black, this guy here, looks a lot more serious. He looks a lot more serious. This guy doesn't look like a comedic character actor. Ben Black has been named as, this was, from back in February, but this guy is the head, appointed by Donald Trump, of the U.S. International Development Finance Corporation. This is something that he runs with the co-founder of Palantir. Oh, sorry, no, he doesn't run this with him. My mistake. He wrote a Substack essay about a month before he was appointed, co-authored with tech entrepreneur and Palantir co-founder Joe Lonsdale. And in this thing, he's sort of like pitching like what he would do if he were in charge, I suppose. And one of these things had to do with USAID. USAID what? Could be maybe their slogan. USAID, basically a CIA carve-out. But they do, nice things to other countries in the global south. Give people food, stuff like that, soft power kind of things. They are also a kind of sneaky, kind of cloak and dagger CIA carve-out, but like overall, I would say the world is more bad now that it's gone. But he had talked about reallocating some of the funds, repurposing USAID funds. Anyway, this doesn't have anything to do with anything really. It's just I just think this is interesting. That like Trump has appointed so many Epstein friends. This guy just loves working with people who are 1 or 2 degrees away from Jeffrey Epstein. In Ben's case, it's 2 degrees, but what are you gonna do? All right, let's get into this. Because we're getting more emails. You notice this like flood of emails we've been getting lately of that between Epstein and other people. We're getting so much shit. We got a bunch of ones from Ehud Barak. We got all those ones with Peter Mandelson. A bunch sent over to what was it called? What's the site? Bloomberg. But these ones are from New York Times. And one thing I will say that bothers me here is we don't have the full, whatever it's called, the full cache of, okay, by the way, Ben Black. Ben Black is kind of handsome, though. Okay, bonking you with the horny hammer, whatever it's called. Straight to horny jail. But valid. Listen, we're all allowed to have problematic crushes. Yes, Trap Advisor. I have seen that. Okay, so wait. the 4chan post claiming to be a maintenance guy from at Little St. James. There's a Reddit thread with a guy who appears like, I think it's pretty much proven, like he did maintenance stuff on Little St. James. He had like an ID card, shows a bunch of photos that no one had ever seen before of the island. His dad worked on the island. That one, is that the one you're talking about? Or is there a 4chan post from a similar one? That's interesting. Oh, what the heck? Okay, Mark J7828. Yeah, so this was an article that I read. During the client list live stream. It mentioned that one of the women who had accused him was autistic, and Mark is saying she actually also had mosaic Down syndrome. That's intense. I don't know what to think about that. Oh, you're talking about the Roger Stone one? Okay, sorry. Was that a maintenance guy too? Yes, I have read that one. That one, like, I've been meaning to kind of go over that on stream because it's kind of hard to find, and a lot of people bring it up. I do think it's like pure bullshit though, in my opinion, if that's the one you're talking about. Trap Advisor, the one where he says that he walked in to like the temple and he saw, a sex crime in progress, and there was a man wearing a bull's head, kind of like giant bull head mask over his head. Like the sort of thing they put on your head if you go to like Kelsey's for your birthday, and they put it on your head and they sing you some copyright-free happy birthday song. Anyway, he's wearing one of those, so you couldn't see his face, but he could see that he had a tattoo of Richard Nixon on his back, and that's what everybody brings. Oh, it's Roger Stone was on the island, yada yada yada. The same guy is like typing this thread, and he's like, whatever. So like, whatever, guys, I'm just gonna get this all out. It's on my conscience. I gotta do this. And he not only worked for Epstein, he worked for a bunch of different, like, sicko elites. Mentions Cole Romney. I think he says he like covered up a murder for Cole Romney. Jeez, I should really find this because like it would be worthwhile going over. I get enough people mentioning it. He also says he worked for Rihanna, the pop star Rihanna, who he says is also a pedophile. And he would like have to procure young girls for Rihanna. He says a bunch of shit. It's in my view, total bullshit. I haven't been able to corroborate anything. Roger Stone there is zero evidence Roger Stone was ever on the island, not on any of the flight logs, not on anything. And in fact, funnily enough, Roger Stone was like the first guy on Earth to publicly give a fuck about Jeffrey Epstein, because he was using it to attack the Clintons. Nobody was reporting on it. So some of the earliest articles about, Jeffrey Epstein, that were like painting a picture of like what exactly he was, were by Roger Stone on like he did a bunch of different hits on Roger Stone in 2015. And he only stopped when Donald Trump entered the race, which is kind of funny, but for president. But yes, I don't think that one's super reliable. But you know what, man? What man or woman and or non-binary person? I'm gonna write this down because I really should do a full stream on this. It is definitely worth doing. Because I've looked for it. It's hard to find. I'm sure I could find it though if I really tried. Okay, Roger Stone, 4chan post guy. I'll just put that down. Okay, all right, guys. Little distraction. Let's get back. Let's get back to business over here. All right. Let's just read this article. Jeffrey Epstein was furious. For years, I like how it's like starting as a storybook. Jeffrey Epstein was furious. For years, he had relied on the billionaire Leon Black as his primary source of income, advising him on everything from taxes to his world-class art collection. But by 2016, Mr. Black seemed to be reluctant to keep paying him tens of millions of dollars a year. So, Mr. Epstein threw a tantrum. That's right. Trying to zoom in strategically here. One of Mr. Black's other financial advisors has created a really dangerous mess, Mr. Epstein wrote in an email to Mr. Black. Another was a waste of money and space. He even attacked Mr. Black's children as arsler for supposedly making a mess of his estate. Pretty intense. Pretty intense way to speak to somebody who is like one of your clients. And in fact, like the guy who gave Epstein the most money, at least after 2016. Leon Black was like, for a few years there, basically like the new Les Wexner. The typo-strewn tirade was one of dozens of previously unreported emails reviewed by the New York Times in which Mr. Epstein hectored Mr. Black, at times demanding tens of millions of dollars beyond the $150 million he'd already been paid. The pressure campaign appeared to work. Mr. Black, who for decades was one of the richest and highest profile figures on Wall Street, continued to fork over tens of millions of dollars in fees and loans, albeit less than what Mr. Epstein had been seeking. Of all the relationships that Mr. Epstein built with the rich and powerful, his friendship with Mr. Black was arguably the most important. That's pretty intense. And I mean, like, yeah. Do I agree with that? I mean, I guess it's arguably. So you can't argue with it. Otherwise, you're just proving his point. But yeah, I mean, you could argue that. I mean, I think that like Bill Clinton's friendship opened a lot of doors for him, not even necessarily through Bill Clinton directly, but just being able to say he was Bill Clinton's friend and photos and stuff. Alan Dershowitz, you know, I mean, Ghislaine Maxwell, Donald Barr. I mean, there are a lot of you know, what do you call it? There are a lot of contenders for this throne here. But anyways, Leon Black absolutely is in the running at least. Yes, that's right, DM Collins. The Clintons' war on women, which was also about the what's it called? The campaign. He's trying to fuck over Hillary Clinton. The Clintons' war on women. Interesting book. There's a full chapter in there about Epstein. And yeah, that one was published in 2016. I believe it was written in 2015 though. Yeah, most important friend. I mean, yeah, I think if we had to pick one, Wexner seems to really have catapulted him into this lifestyle that he's become so famous for. Of all the relationships, so after Mr. Epstein served jail time for soliciting prostitution from a minor, many of his contacts backed away, but not Mr. Black, who kept Mr. Epstein afloat for years. Now, the new emails, along with court documents and interviews, provide the most complete picture of that relationship. Yet, they come at a time of renewed interest in Mr. Epstein, stoked by the Trump administration's refusal to release government records related to investigations into him. The president, who was once friends with Mr. Epstein, it's just funny. It's just so funny that that is a true thing. You can just say, crazy. Has sought to deflect attention onto hedge fund guys and other prominent men who he says were much closer to the predator than he once was. Hedge fund guys. Mr. Black, 74, was pushed out of the private equity firm he co-founded, Apollo Global Management. What a evil name, Global Management. It's like they run the world, basically. Apollo Global Management. In 2021, over his ties to Mr. Epstein, so yeah, he got kicked out of private equity. Of course, just like everyone, he was like, no way, I was only using him for financial stuff. Those claims have puzzled many on Wall Street, who have asked why one of the country's richest men would pay Mr. Epstein, a college dropout, so much more than what prestigious law firms would charge for similar service. Yeah, that is a good question. What? Yeah, that is a good question. Was he really that good? So this is crazy because I had never heard this figure before. I'd heard various figures for how much Leon Black paid Jeffrey Epstein, but I think that this is the highest one I've ever heard. $170 million Leon Black paid Jeffrey Epstein over the course of their client what is it, employer relationship. The new emails confirm Epstein performed financial work for Mr. Black. He even claimed in one note that his maneuverings had saved his benefactor as much as $2 billion. See, this is so frustrating. Okay. And the messages suggest that Mr. Epstein, despite his financial dependency, believed he had considerable power in the relationship. Okay, so there's a couple of interesting things here. Yeah, right. Yeah, so I heard like 158 million. I heard 140 million, whatever. 170 million. Is that, Mark, do you know, is that like a new thing? Or anyone in chat? Chat, do you guys know if this is like a new number or like from this article, or has that been known for a while? Because to me it seems new. But sorry, what was I saying? So this is frustrating to me because we have to take the New York Times word for everything here. We don't have the emails to look at. We know that they looked them over, and we know that they typed this up, or they okayed this article. But like, it's frustrating because God, we've been coasting by on what documentary evidence we have for a long time. We've got some new stuff, admittedly. We've got some new, very like limited hangout screenshots of his schedule, tons of shit redacted. We have, still the flight logs, the black books, things like that, some phone messages we have. But like, can somebody please leak these? Can someone please, Russia, if you're listening, do like the Donald Trump WikiLeaks thing. WikiLeaks, if you're listening, could you please do this? DDoS Secrets, if you're listening. Like, we need to see these, because I'm sure there's more stuff in here than what we're getting from this article, even if they didn't mean to cover anything up. Like, this is like the team at New York Times or whatever. Like, the guy who wrote this article going through, reading everything. But let's crowdsource it. Come on. I don't know. I'm sure there are a lot of powerful people who would not want that to happen. Oh, Ron Wyden's been saying this for a few months. Okay, cool. Good to know. But it is interesting because, like, I personally, I don't believe Epstein actually did financial shit for his clients. I don't think he really did that at all. I think that was like the lie that he propagated to everyone, but like no one talks about him working. People talk about him spending all day on his iPad or talking loudly on the phone, but like, in order for him to do what he's claiming to do, this guy would need to be sitting down with his ledger and like, whatever, like actually putting in the hours, rearranging estates and whatever it is that billionaires need done. So I don't think that he was doing this, but it's interesting. He claimed his maneuverings had saved his benefactor as much as $2 billion. Okay. And the messages suggest that Mr. Epstein, despite his financial dependency, believed he had considerable power in the relationship. Like, doesn't that seem like a blackmail thing? Doesn't that seem like a blackmail thing? Like, why? Like, this guy is basically almost single-handedly responsible for Epstein's like lavish lifestyle. He owns islands and shit because this guy's paying him like $170 million. That is a ton of money. And yet Epstein was like not nice to him. It's like really rude. Like that's like, so this is a good point. Why did he think he had so much power? The two men had been personally entwined for more than 2 decades. When a former girlfriend accused Mr. Black of sexual assault, he turned to Mr. Epstein for advice about paying her millions of dollars to keep it quiet, according to an email reviewed by the Times and court records. Please let us see this email. I would love to see exactly what that conversation was like. Another woman said in a lawsuit that Mr. Black had raped her at Mr. Epstein's Manhattan townhouse. She eventually dropped the lawsuit. So that is another one of the accusations. And I believe that was it. Like, in one of the massage rooms at Epstein's. So essentially, like what we would, I think, assume would be a trafficking thing. Yeah, no, I mean, maybe he really was good at his job doing money stuff. Maybe, I mean, I guess there are some other possibilities here. There's maybe he had hired people who actually did the work while he was off doing whatever he wanted. Maybe he was like, because he connected people a lot. He was the center of like a vast network, and he helped people get connected. He also would set up his friends with women. He would like not in a sex trafficking way, although, you know, arguably in that way too, but in a way where he would like a lot of the people in his orbit ended up dating women that Epstein had dated beforehand. So yeah, I mean, like it's hard to say. It could be business connections, could be political connections, could be international kind of whatever stuff. I don't know. Some kind of he must have been offering some kind of service, right? Like it wouldn't be pure blackmail. Like these guys, for a lot of it, they definitely like genuinely liked each other, as we'll see from some of these other things. Even when they were arguing, there's some friendship there, camaraderie. And for reasons that are unknown, Mr. Black wired hundreds of thousands of dollars to at least 3 women who were associated with Mr. Epstein, according to court documents and notes taken by congressional investigators that were shared with the Times. Mr. Black has not responded to the questions about these payments. I'm going to... Susan Estrich, a lawyer for Mr. Black, said to imply that Epstein somehow had influence over Mr. Black is false and patently absurd, she said. She added that the law firm hired by Apollo to review the men's relationship found Mr. Black had no knowledge of Epstein's criminal activities. Mr. Black has never abused a woman in his life, and any suggestion is false. Mr. Black has said that he regretted working with Mr. Epstein. I bet he does. Okay, so the emails reviewed by the Times, sent in 2015 and 2016 to Mr. Black through his personal assistant, as well as to a handful of his advisors, show another dimension of Mr. Epstein's cruelty. While he was known for ingratiating himself with the rich and powerful, he could also veer into nastiness and was willing to turn the screws on his biggest client. None of the emails were written by Mr. Black, the ones that they reviewed. Okay, that's interesting. So they only have one side of this exchange. It's just like funny way to read it. Another dimension of Mr. Epstein's cruelty. It's like, not only was he an evil pedophile, he could also sometimes be mean to even his billionaire friends. You know, it's like, okay, yeah, okay, I know, we know he's a bad guy. This isn't the final straw for me. I will no longer, not even for one day, work on your affairs without the compensation that is long overdue. Is that a good Epstein impression? I don't know. Mr. Epstein wrote in November 2015, Mr. Epstein demanded the usual $40 million per year. I can't just drop the R's, right? There's got to be more to the accent than that, with most of it paid up front. Months later, as their fight over payments roared on, Mr. Epstein offered a concession. Of course, regarding any non-financial issues, I'm always there for you, and I will continue to be the best friend I can be. Email excerpt from Jeffrey Epstein to Leon Black. I never want to have any more uncomfortable money moments with you. I find it very distasteful. So to be clear, my terms are as follows. God, I'm all over the place. Okay, I'm just going to go back to regular voice. I'll only work for the usual $40 million per year. Okay, let me just write this. It needs to be paid $25 million upon signing an agreement, $5 million every 2 months thereafter for 6 months, i.e. March, May, June. This can begin if I am able in January. I will immediately stop work if the payment is not received. That's intense. This guy's playing hardball. Mr. Black and Mr. Epstein met thanks to Mr. Epstein's knack for inserting themselves in other people's business. Yada, yada, yada. Talking about how they met. This is in the 90s. So Mr. Epstein had no formal training in tax and estate planning, but after a few years working at an investment bank, he convinced a few business elites to hire him for financial advice. They included Elizabeth Johnson, recently deceased woman. She's the heir to the Johnson & Johnson fortune, and Leslie Wexner, the billionaire behind Victoria's Secret and The Limited. Now, Elizabeth Johnson, here, put this up on your pin board, your conspiracy theory bulletin truth board. You got Elizabeth Johnson, heir to the Johnson & Johnson family dynasty, and her brother, his name's, what is it? His name's something, Woody Johnson, I think? Yeah, Woody Johnson. Woody Johnson is his name. He's got 2 dick names. Woody Johnson. I think he like owns NASCAR or something like that. Woody Johnson, this dude. Owner of the New York Jets, heir to the Johnson & Johnson. Oh, okay, nothing to do with NASCAR? Really? No, nothing to do with NASCAR. Okay, I'm crazy. But whatever, he owns a bunch of stuff. So this guy, Woody Johnson, again, I cannot believe that that's his actual name. But yes, Mark, you're ahead of me here. So he is married to Urcha Johnson. That's Suzanne Urcha Johnson, who's also known for being, oh, here they are. Suzanne Urcha Johnson. They are known for being, Urcha is known for being Melania Trump's best friend. Suzanne Urcha Johnson, Melania Trump. Does this maybe, here's Trump. Is Trump wearing like a wig of his own hair? What's going on here? Here's Trump, Melania, Woody Johnson, and Suzanne Urcha Johnson. So this is Melania and Suzanne are apparently best friends. Here they are together, hanging out, doing best friend things, hashtag twinsies, whatever. Yeah, they hang out a lot. And yes, Mark, you are ahead of me once again. Yes, okay, I figured Indochine was a restaurant. But Urcha Johnson wrote Epstein a letter in the birthday book where she said that she met Epstein when she was, I think, it's hard to tell because it seems that she's lied about her age a lot. So it's hard to tell exactly when, but sometime when she was around 16 to 18 years old, she met him and she lost her virginity to Epstein, but they stayed friends afterwards, and he got her a job at Bear Stearns, and she did work at Bear Stearns. Anyway, guys, what a tangled web we weave. There's more to it than that. Even there's more to it than that. I could get into one of the guys that other Johnson dated, who was one of Epstein's best friends. But you know what? I'll back out. She was 21 when she met Epstein, or when she started at Bear Stearns. Because I believe she met Epstein like a few years earlier than that. She specifies the year in the thing at some point. Marshall Applewhite. Yeah, it's why am I not? Jeez. Yeah. Why am I not? Yeah, I feel like is he going for like a Andy Warhol? Maybe. Marshall Applewhite. Looking for a photo that, oh yeah, okay, like this. Yeah, it could be. If he was wearing sunglasses. The Heaven's Gate guy. All right. Guys, I got to stay on topic here. We're not talking about any of these people. But yes, Elizabeth Johnson, one of his early clients, along with Les Wexner. Okay, thanks, Mark. All right, sorry. So she was 21 then? That's interesting. Okay. Oh, I would like to research this. Okay, I'll do it real quick. Suzanne Urcha Johnson, age. She's 1966. It says here, according to AI. I mean, I don't know. But then look, when I write down 64. See, this is what I'm saying, Mark. She's her age is kind of hard to pinpoint. I suppose it would make sense for her to be older because, you know, she was an actress for a while, a model. Like it would make more sense for her to lie about her age to make herself younger. But if she was born in 1966, 1985 she'd be 19. 1964. Yeah, what I'm saying. Anyway, I don't know, but yeah, who knows? 1964. Anyway, guys, I got no idea. I got no clue. Apparently, Woody Johnson met Suzanne in 2004. So maybe they actually met at Epstein's birthday party. That would be crazy. All right. I will get more into that later. I promise. I want to do a stream where I just go into a lot of the connections with him. Goblin Queen, you of all people should know better than to distract me with a link to a thing, but okay, I will check it out. The restaurant that has helped New Yorkers feel famous since 1984. No, I will not be. Okay, the designer Terry Mugler. All right. Andy Warhol, Jacqueline Schnabel, Jean-Michel Basquiat, Julian Schnabel. Wow, okay. Kenny Scharf at the opening of Indochine. Cool. What a cool place with cool people. Anyway, I don't know. I don't really want... Ashley, what are you doing? You should know better than to... Oh, speaking of the birthday book. Here's the thing. I dug up the poem that Leon Black wrote him for his birthday. I think we'll get into that in a second. All right, sorry. Let me recenter. Let me just recenter my energy here. Get back on track. All right. I need to be my own Adderall. All right. I need to focus. Focus. Do not get distracted by the people in the chat. They are there to tempt you away from the story you're trying to tell about Leon Black's new emails, as reported by the New York Times. Okay. All right, here we go. Mr. Black found Mr. Epstein to be impressive and a little mysterious. Yeah, that's how everybody found him, I think. It wasn't just his ties to the ultra-wealthy. He also seemed to always be surrounded by beautiful women. He was almost like a James Bond villain, Mr. Black told the publication Puck last year. Yeah, that does seem to be a big thing with his appeal. And like I said, like he would constantly be setting his friends up. Like, you know, Glenn Dubin married his ex, Ava Anderson Dubin, became Ava Anderson Dubin. Like all these guys kind of benefited from Epstein's connections to like all these like models and stuff, including Trump. Trump dated several, at least 2, possibly 3 if we include Melania, which we're not 100% sure on. But like I said, there's a tangled web there, connecting Melania Trump to Epstein. But yeah, I get the sense from all of the reading that I've done about Epstein, I get the sense that Epstein was like a lot of guys who hung out with Epstein were like kind of hoping that they could get his kind of whatever. What's a nice way of saying it? Like be able to date some of the women that he dumped. I don't know. I tried really hard not to put that in a very vulgar tone. Don't say "so we" to me, Goblin Queen. You're the one that's going to edit all these things. Okay, Goblin Queen. In what? And then you threw me off once again. Okay, no, it's fine. I'm back. He was almost like a James Bond villain. Yeah. So I think that a lot of people had this impression of Epstein. So this quote from him makes a lot of sense. This really fits with my preconceived idea of what Epstein's friendship circle was like. In 1997, long before Mr. Epstein became a formal advisor to Mr. Black, he and his wife Deborah put Mr. Epstein on the board of directors of their newly created family foundation. So this is, I would like to know exactly what this is. Family Foundation. What is this? A couple years later, Mr. Black and the two other Apollo executives together donated $500,000 to one of Epstein's nonprofits, which gave money to charities. Oh, I like this is I actually was kind of nerding out about it in the Discord earlier. By the way, if you're not in the Discord yet, let me throw you guys a bit of a frickin' thing. One sec. How do I get the invite to channel? Copy. Here you go. I'm tossing this in the chat. Why not? Go join the Discord. I was nerding out about it in the Discord a little bit earlier about the way that boards of directors of corporations, as well as the policy planning networks that includes things like foundations, think tanks. What's the other one? Policy discussion organizations. These are all boards you can get on that are funded by the hyper rich people in the social elite class, as well as the corporate community. And you get on these boards and you're connecting to all of the other boards that you sit on. We know that Epstein was a member of the Trilateral Commission, as well as what are all the things he was a part of? Trilateral Commission. I'm having a hard time remembering like the most obvious one. Epstein board. Trilateral Commission. Members of the Trilateral Commission. Oh, somebody help me out. Chat. What's it called? Council on Foreign Relations. Yes, Mark. Okay, you got it. Yes. That's the one I was trying to think of. So he was sitting on the Council on Foreign Relations, as well as the Trilateral Commission, which is like a group that does like foreign policy shit about, Japan, Western Europe, and North America. It's like very huge, important things. I don't know, some kind of a real politic. Zbigniew Brzezinski started it, David Rockefeller. Like, these are the networks that control the world. According to this guy I've been getting into lately, G. William Domhoff, he calls the policy planning network the true political party of the elite. Isn't it kind of interesting? The political party of the elite. It's a hidden political party. We don't see it. We don't really see it, but it's these networks. Yeah, let me show you this. I think it's called Who or They Rule. TheyRule.net. Check this out. So this is just U.S. corporations. So I'll just go play automatically. So we start Cisco, and then look on Cisco, you got all these dudes. These sit on the board at Cisco, and then look, this one person, Sheila Talton. Well, she also sits on the board of Deere and Company, and then John May on Deere and Company sits on the Ford Motor Company, and then John Huntsman sits on the Chevron Corporation, and then like this is not like a video. This is like a thing that I can like I can move around. I can be like, well, who else? What about this guy? He's also on Dell. Who's on Dell? Okay, this guy. Okay, he's nothing. But okay, this person. Like so you can sort of like find these connections. This is who rules. This rules. Not Jenny Penn. These guys. These people. Well, I mean, not even necessarily these people, because all of these people will have some sort of corporate sponsor if they're not themselves, members of the elite class. They'll be there for, on behalf of someone else, advancing their interests, just like Epstein was advancing the interests of Leon Black when he was put on the board of directors of their newly created family foundation. And this is like a nonprofit. It's not a corporation. But anyway, it's interesting, right? Yeah, yes, they have meetings. They're a policy planning organization. So the Trilateral Commission will advocate. What do they do here? The leadership of the organization has since focused on returning to our roots as a group of countries sharing common values and blah, 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 blah. Total bullshit. Meetings are held annually at locations that rotate among the three regions. Most gatherings focus on discussing reports and debating strategy to meet the commission's aims. Each country within 3 regions is assigned a quota of members, reflecting its relative political and economic strength. So they essentially, like, yeah, what do they do is the question. They essentially, so they make assessments. Chomsky has an interesting take on Trilateral Commission in particular. Chomsky has criticized the commission as undemocratic, pointing to its key publication, The Crisis of Democracy, which describes the strong popular interest in politics during the 1970s as an excess of democracy. He is cited as one of the most interesting and insightful books showing the modern democratic system not to really be a democracy at all, but controlled by elites who seek to keep the general public disengaged from genuine democratic participation by subtle and mostly nonviolent methods, and to redefine democracy itself in operative terms that enshrine their own interests as a tiny, privileged minority. So it's like an opinion-shaping group. Like they are, I am guessing they will even write policy for politicians. Maybe not as openly, but they publish a book like The Crisis of Democracy. Through the Trilateral Commission. This is going to advance their aims. Similar kind of thing with, like, I would say, the abundance movement right now. The abundance movement is basically like this, you know? I don't know who's funding it. I think it's a little bit dark money shit, but the abundance shit is clearly, where is it? Clearly, does it say? No, I don't think we know exactly who's funding it, but all of the ideas of abundance are very much in line with what the elites would want anyway, right? Like, this is not like a, liberal, left-leaning, whatever idea. But yes, okay, listen, I'm getting a little bit tinfoil hat over here. I don't mean to do that. Again, we are trying to read through this. We're trying to read through this article, and I will do it. Dang it! All right, but I just thought this was interesting, right? Isn't that kind of interesting? Like, and I want to know what is the foundation? Anyways, a couple years later, Mr. Black and the 2 other Apollo executives together donated $500,000 to one. Okay, read that already. And this is another thing. One of his charities, which gives money to charities. This is also part of this network. And the elites do this because they're a social class. They have social cohesion. They talk to each other. They hang out. They're friends. They marry each other. They date each other. They date each other's exes, especially if you're friends with Epstein. And look at this. Yeah. Mr. Epstein introduced Mr. Black to several young women, as well. Some of the women later accused Mr. Black of abusing them. So we have I think there's 4 or 5 women who've accused him of abuse. One of them dropped it. But he introduced him to other women too. In 2002, Mr. Epstein arranged for Mr. Black to meet Sherry Pearson, whom Mr. Epstein had paid for massages, according to a lawsuit. Ms. Pearson filed years later and eventually withdrew. So this was basically like, if this is true, a trafficking, not a child trafficking, but a sex trafficking thing. I'm not sure how old she was. I assume it would say here if that was not the case. In early 2003, Mr. Black was among the friends who contributed to a book celebrating Mr. Epstein's 50th birthday. Okay, let's take a look at it because I got it right here. So this is Jeffrey Epstein's 2004 50th birthday book. And fucking Leon Black wrote him a poem that gets harder and harder to read as it goes on. I'm not sure if that's intentional, but he just keeps adding more and more syllables to every line. So we're not going to read the whole thing because fuck that. But I'm going to, on the occasion, this is how this guy talks. On the occasion of Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday. What is this guy, like writing a chapter of Winnie the Pooh or something? On the occasion? Isn't this guy American? Who talks like that? Now he starts out, I will say the first stanza? I don't know. I ain't a poet. But the first one, the poetic meter is on point, and that's only because he fucking abbreviates Vanity Fair poster child to VFPC. So this is right after Epstein had his article published in Vanity Fair, Vicky Ward. A VFPC is something to be. A VFPC is something to see. A liver, a lover, a Jeff, a Jeffrey. Let's all give a cheer. For today, he's 50. Not bad. We're not going to read the whole thing, but I'll read this next one. 5 decades L or half century, by birds and by bucks, season M's are his key. Blonde, red, or brunette spread out geographically. With his net of fish, Jeff's now the old man in the sea. See how I had to, it's really hard to scan that properly. If my friend Dan were here, he'd probably do a better job with it. This, the meter, the Scantron, what do you call it? Meter scanning? I don't know. What do these letters mean? But yeah, okay, but this is interesting. By birds and by bucks. Is that like girls and boys? C's and M's are his key. All right, I don't know what those C's and M's are. Blonde, red, or brunette spread out geographically. Blonde, red, or brunette spread. What? Like, take the word out. Take out. Because, like, I can't read that. There's no way to read that line and have it, like, fit the meter of the poem. With his net of fish. Now, fish, I think, is women. I believe that's what he means here. Not a very good metaphor. Blonde, red, or brunette, fish. Okay, so you're calling women fish. With this net of fish, Jeff's now the old man in the sea. And he underlines the old man because he's like, and I'm calling you old because I'm ribbing you because we're buds. You're old and you got a lot of women on the thing. Yeah, L is in 5 decades. Right. Yeah. So C is 100, M is 1,000. Oh, that could be. Yeah, that could be. That actually makes sense, DM Collins. Good work on that. Good work. It's always good to have a Roman in the chat here, helping us out with those weird numbers. So it's hundreds and thousands are his key then? Like, I guess money? But I mean, what's the Roman number for fucking a million? Because, like, it's not really, as far as Liam Black's concerned, hundreds and thousands are not his key. Good stuff. Good to know. Teaching math, trading options for foreign currency, green eye shades, schemes and plans, a unique strategy. Green eye shades. I have never once seen a picture of Epstein with those green eye shades. The things that, like, you know, accountants wear. Like, can you even imagine Epstein, like, sitting there like this, like, going over the fucking numbers? No, I do not believe that happened. I might be the minority here. I think a lot of you guys in the chat think that Epstein did, in fact, actually do some of these things, but who knows? Yeah, and then he signs that off. 11 kisses, Leon. Like, they're friends. They genuinely liked each other around this time. All right. Oh, yes. He does refer to his, I guess, the other thing, unique tax strategy. Great. Okay. Green eye shade schemes and plans, a unique tax strategy. Wet dream and Kochimar. What does that say? Kuchinar? An architect's wild spree. Moscow, Paris, Santa Fe, Alhambra, East Jamboree. Okay, again, dude, go back to put in the initials because, like, you're putting way too many syllables in each line. All right, fine. I'll read the last verse. A Maxwellian delight, a mother's treasure, great joy, most surely. Like, how the fuck do I? Let me try. Let me actually try. Maxwellian delight, a mother's treasure, great joy, most surely. Harvardian patron, brain researcher for extending. Harvardian patron, brain researcher for extending wannabe. Outrageous, iconoclastic, unconventional, spirit free. Best of all, a dear friend. Happy birthday, Jeffrey. 11 kisses. 11 kisses. Leon. What a weirdo. Anyway, it's not the worst thing that somebody wrote in the book. He didn't do the thing Trump did, but still weird. So a few years later, blah blah blah, he was in jail. In 2011, Mr. Epstein was at a crossroads. He was a registered sex offender, and his main benefactor, Mr. Wexner, the retail billionaire, had long since cut ties. His personal investments, while sizable, had plummeted since the 2008 financial crisis, according to records filed by one of Epstein's companies. Which might not even be true, right? Like, you know, he might have just wanted people to think that he was broke. And his opulent lifestyle and sex trafficking operation continued to rack up expenses. I like how like sex trafficking operation is just spoken of here as if this was definitely what he was doing. I mean, like, I do think that is what he's doing. But, like, as far as I know, we don't have, like, proof. I mean, we have a lot of allegations, but yeah, anyway. Mr. Black, too, was at a crossroads of sorts. Apollo had gone public in 2011. Mr. Black's personal wealth had soared. Keep just going to skim through here. Mr. Epstein had found a new cash cow. Okay, so this is when he started to work with Leon Black. And in 2012, he received $5.5 million from Mr. Black, which appears to have been the first transaction between the two men. Okay, so back in 2004, when that birthday card was sent, he wasn't his client yet. But 2012, $5.5 million, which appears to have been the first transaction. Blah, blah, blah. Months later, they signed a contract in which Mr. Black agreed to pay Mr. Epstein $23.5 million for estate planning matters. This is what Epstein claimed to do for people. Oh, thank you, DM Collins. Apparently, cauchemar is French for nightmare, but not sure if that's the meaning here. Cauchemar, nightmare, what the? Wet dream and cauchemar, it must be. Wet dream and nightmare. An architect's wild spree. Why say fucking cauchemar when you could just say nightmare? Like, come on now. Okay, this is annoying me. Let's just get back to the thing. Mr. Epstein sought to professionalize Mr. Black's family investment office. So yeah, his whole thing was like this is what he claims he did, right? He's like, hey, if you're a billionaire, a lot of billionaires, you know, the way they arrange their estate, the way they plan their personal finances, it makes sense when they're like millionaires. It makes less sense when they're multimillionaires. It makes no sense when they're billionaires. So most billionaires have completely fucked their personal finances. So let me get in there and let me do some shit that fixes it and makes it so that it's all working for you in the best way possible. Now, I sort of think of Mr. Epstein as like a con artist. And I think that he did convince people that he was going to do illegal shit for them. He had these illegal ways of hiding their money from the government and making it so that they didn't have to pay. And so in order for that to work, they had to pay him a ton of money. Some people like Les Wexner, he got to even put like his name, like put his money in Epstein's name. Like the way he was able to get away with this is he'd be like, well, I've got, what are you going to do? Call the police and say that like, I tricked you into doing this. You knew we were doing illegal shit. So I think, I mean, that's my personal theory. I don't want, I'm trying not to let that affect how I see things, but that might be what Black's referring to with this unique tax strategy. Green eye shades, schemes and plans, a unique tax strategy. But I don't know. Okay. Moving on. Mr. Epstein sought to professionalize Mr. Black's family investment office, which managed the billionaire's assets. He constructed and sometimes participated in art transactions that were designed to skirt capital gains taxes and keep Mr. Black's purchases from drawing public attention, according to emails reviewed by the Times. And here we go again. He used his connections at J.P. Morgan Chase. I said that in a weird way. J.P. Morgan Chase, where Mr. Epstein was a prized client, to seek a loan for Mr. Black. In one email, he told a banker that he was advising on Mr. Black's $120 million purchase of Edvard Munch's painting, The Scream. The Scream is owned by fucking Leon Black? See, okay, and another thing here is, again, Epstein's a con artist. Wow, he owns it. Motherfucker owns The Scream. That's nuts. The lead partner of Apollo Global Management is now the proud owner of the most expensive piece of art ever sold in an auction. and this would be in 2012, so this would line up with when Epstein was managing his managing his estate or whatever he was claiming to do. Now, yeah, Mr. Black's representative said Mr. Epstein was not involved in the 2012 purchase of the painting. And so, like, you know, obviously they're going to say that. If he was involved, they would still say that. But I'll also say Epstein's also like a massive liar, okay, and a con artist. And this, to me, this may be true. Like, I'm not saying it's not true. It very well could be true. But it also seems like exactly the kind of thing Epstein would say just so that people would be impressed. And because he knew that they wouldn't be able to, you know, totally double check it until whatever, an article comes out in the New York Times in 2025. But he would do that shit all the time. He'd take credit for things that he had nothing to do with. So I don't know. Jury's out on that as far as I'm concerned. Most important, he found ways to minimize the taxes that Mr. Black's estate would owe after his death. I mean, he certainly was able to do that for himself. Creating trusts to allow Leon Black to pass along potentially unlimited sums to their heirs, free of any estate tax. In 2013, Mr. Epstein came up with a way to rework the trust to potentially avoid hundreds of millions of dollars in taxes for Mr. Black's 4 children. Cool. Great. This is why the earth sucks. This is why the rich keep getting richer. This is why the inequality is so bad. Because of this bullshit. Tax strategies. Mr. Epstein repeatedly rattled off the projects he was undertaking for Mr. Black. The actual role that he played, as well as the true value derived from that work, is unclear. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying right here. Epstein talks a big game. We know he's very good at that. He's very good at, like, getting it in writing, whatever, sending it. But, like, did he ever actually do the work? Did he ever actually, you know, sit down with that fucking green visor? What's it called? Did he ever do that shit? Like, I don't think so. My contention is Epstein's financial shit was total bullshit. Because, yeah, yet Mr. Epstein told Mr. Black that the work was highly valuable. Mr. Black generally coughed up the fees Mr. Epstein requested. The total would ultimately reach $170 million. By a wide margin, Mr. Black was Mr. Epstein's greatest source of income after 2012. The runner-up, the French banker Ariane de Rothschild, who paid Mr. Epstein at least $15 million in 2015. And Ariane de Rothschild, who are they in the... Okay, this is a woman. And they're the CEO of Edmund de Rothschild Group. Wow. I don't know about her. I know Lynn Forrester de Rothschild, who was a good friend of Epstein's and a client of his as well. I know Evelyn de Rothschild. Presumably, this is from the same family. The first... and so just like Lynn Forrester de Rothschild, she's not actually a Rothschild. She's the first woman and the first person without Rothschild lineage to run a Rothschild-branded financial institution. She married Benjamin de Rothschild, this guy. So this guy's actually from the Rothschild family. Super interesting. And this guy's was actually a billionaire. Because a lot of the Rothschilds aren't billionaires, but this guy actually is. I mean, you know, who knows how much money they actually have? It can be kind of hard to tell sometimes. But yes, hey, what's up to Finland? Tom of Finland. Yes, we're going through the New York Times article about Jeffrey Epstein and Leon Black. I'm trying to figure out how Benjamin de Rothschild is related to Evelyn de Rothschild. Is Evelyn de Rothschild on this page? Because these guys are French, whereas Evelyn is UK. Yeah. So okay. So Evelyn de Rothschild. Sorry, no, this can't be him. Who's the guy who married Lynn Forrester? Oh, it was him. Oh, wow. Okay. He was older than I thought. He died at 91. Wow. Anyway, guys, I said I was going to try not to get distracted, but I mean, the Rothschilds, like this is a fucking rabbit hole. I just kind of wanted to see a family tree, but I guess they're more distantly related than I thought. I thought they might be closer because it's de Rothschild, which is like a certain branch. Is it? Yeah. Lynn Forrester's American. True. Benjamin Black. We were talking about him earlier. He's now in charge of what the fuck was it called? The U.S. Agency for International Development. No, sorry. Wait. The U.S. International Development Finance Corporation. I don't know. But yeah, this dude. Yeah, we're getting to that. We're getting to that particular slur. Okay. All right, moving on. I will be my own Adderall again. Mr. Epstein also gave Mr. Black access to his Rolodex. Now, this was something, I think I mentioned this earlier. I do think this is an actual value that Epstein could bring to people. Over the years, he connected Leon Black with Bill Gates and Steve Bannon. He introduced one of Mr. Black's sons to Woody Allen to learn about film editing, according to court records. Mr. Black, meanwhile, donated millions to one of Mr. Epstein's charities. So we have Epstein hanging out, introducing Leon Black to women, multiple women, setting him up with massages, erotic massages, sex trafficking girls to him. He's also helping manage his responses to accusations of assault. And he's also introducing him to business contacts, Bill Gates, Steve Bannon, and he's one of his, fail sons gets to meet Woody Allen, one of Epstein's also late in life best friends. And Mr. Black is donating billions to one of Mr. Epstein's charities. So there's a lot going on here, right? That doesn't have anything to do with Epstein actually doing financial work for him. Some work that Mr. Epstein performed for Mr. Black required the utmost discretion. For instance, he helped him keep a long-running extramarital affair under wraps. Does this seem like something that your financial guy does? This guy was doing shit for. Okay, now this part I gotta say something here. Mr. Black paid nearly $10 million to Gazelle Genieva, with whom he had a sexual relationship and who had accused him of assault. The agreement required Ms. Genieva, not sure how to pronounce it, to not publicly disclose the relationship. By the way, where's my Epstein Extended Universe? Oh, it's on? Oh, weird that none of these people are being highlighted. Mr. Black has acknowledged the affair but denied the assault. One of Epstein's tasks was to look into whether the payments, some of which were structured as loans, would incur federal gift taxes, according to court filings and the emails the Times reviewed. Okay, I guess that does have to do with financial shit. Pleading for pay by 2015. 2015. This is a few years after he started working with him. Fissures were beginning to surface in the relationship between the two men. Mr. Epstein wanted more money. Mr. Black did not want to give him that more money that he so desperately desired. Mr. Epstein compiled a bunch of emails with notes to himself about the role he had played in managing Mr. Black's finances, apparently to help make the case that he deserved to be paid. Please release those. Release those right now. Leak those. The people need to know. Also, this is funny. The spat was captured in Mr. Epstein's emails, written in a stream of consciousness manner, with little regard for the conventions of grammar, punctuation, or spelling. Yeah, that's how Epstein typed. Have you ever seen that photo of Epstein standing in front of a chalkboard? If I just search Jeffrey Epstein, I bet I can find it. Maybe I need a little bit more. Oh, it's this photo, but they've edited it. Chalkboard. Yeah. So here he is. Oh, okay. It's not this photo. Here's a photo of Jeffrey Epstein when he was a teacher at Dalton School. And check out how he spelled his own name. brother, my, buddy, how did you spell your own name wrong? That is crazy. That's a new level. That's not your average, I don't know, dyslexia, is it? Misspelling your own name? Like, that's wild. Anyways, it's fine. By the way, this is something about Epstein that is neutral. It is not a good or bad thing, but I do think it's funny that they're kind of roasting him here. Little regard for the conventions of grammar, punctuation, and spelling. The guy couldn't spell. Mr. Epstein alternated between sounding angry, boastful, defensive. He detailed the extensive work he'd performed and how much money it saved the client. He derided the employees of Mr. Black's family office and one of the billionaire's outside advisors at the elite law firm Paul Weiss. The underlying message, Mr. Black could trust only Mr. Epstein, and he deserved to be paid accordingly. Shortly after a meeting with Mr. Black and some of his advisors in November of 2015. So check this out. Leon Black met with Epstein and then some of his other advisors. He's like, yeah, Danny, my kid has dyslexia. I've been wondering if Jeff was. I mean, I don't know. Like, to be honest, I don't really know much about dyslexia. Do you think so, Danny? Is that something that seems like he had? Because like he did. Like, we can also look at his what's the word? Spotify account. Let me just see if I can find a screenshot of it. Yeah. Is this? Oh, it's really hard to read. Oh, also, I don't think this is right. No, come on. Come on, Daily Mail. Jeffrey Epstein's Spotify playlists. Oh, geez. Okay. I mean, I don't care. But all of his, all of his fucking things are spelled wrong on Spotify. Let me just make sure that I'm not going to dox myself here. I think I should be okay. Yeah. So here's his playlists. I rip me likey now. Exercise, piano, pitbull, gospel. Gospel? Gospel. Broadway. Classica. Oops. Am I not able to scroll down? Jen, Elton John, Beatles, Beethoven, Peterson, Jump, Chalina. Yeah, I mean, you know, the guy doesn't know how to spell very well. Okay, let us continue on this thing. Gonna be my own Adderall. That's my new saying. Yeah, he loved Pitbull. Yes, he was an iPad guy, Finland. That could explain it. He might have dysgraphia too, which is basically you have terrible handwriting and can write in some weird ways. Could be. Oh yeah. Hekate Lunasri. Okay, so that is a dyslexia thing. All right. Is that one always jumped out at me? He spelled his own name wrong. Like that must be. Like I thought that must be rare, but if that's just a piece of dyslexia, I feel like that must be a thing. Yes, he did have ADHD. Those things are often co-occurring. There you go. All right. Moving on here, guys. So Epstein met with Leon Black and a bunch of Leon Black's like actual qualified people, financial advisors. I'm guessing that this meeting happened and the actual qualified people were like, bro, you're paying Epstein way too much. No. We're not going to do any of this shit. Change this. What the fuck are you doing, Leon? And so Epstein was pissed. He typed a long email. He goes, one advisor's comments were totally incomprehensible, Mr. Epstein wrote. The charts he prepared unreadable. That's I mean, everything's unreadable to you, Epstein. You have dyslexia. Another advisor spent the meeting in a defensive posture, leading Mr. Epstein to wonder if he had felt sandbagged by Mr. Epstein's presence. Mr. Epstein went on to propose one final year of work. Okay. I think you should pay the $25 million that you did not for this year, he wrote. For next year, it's the same, $40 million as always, paid 20 in Jan and 20 in July, and then we are done. Over the course of 2016, Mr. Epstein ratcheted up the pressure to get paid. As you often like to remind me, you've paid a great deal of money to date, he wrote that March. That being said, if you want my involvement moving forward, I suggest you pay my regular fee of $40 million. If cash is a problem, he offered, then Mr. Black could pay him in other ways, like by giving him Miami real estate or artwork or financing his new plane. Email excerpt from Epstein to Black. To help out, I'm keenly aware of your current cash position, so I'll consider an in-kind payment. Real estate, Miami, art, financing of my new plane, allows you to spread over years, or, of course, the preferred cash. Several weeks later, still frustrated, Mr. Epstein dashed off an email that explained the value he'd provided Mr. Black over the years. If you reflect on your financial life, you've been kept safe, had remarkable results, and no disasters, he wrote. Yeah. Safe. Had remarkable results. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, Epstein warned, I've repeatedly urged you to get rid of the people in your office. You've repeatedly chosen to ignore my advice. So he's kind of having it both ways. He's like, look, you've done really well with me. I've helped you make a fuckload of money. But on the other hand, you're not doing that well because you haven't been listening to me. And I told you to fire all of the people that work for you. You know what I mean? Well, ignoring the benefit of between 1.5 and 2 billion to the better, a reference to how much Mr. Epstein claimed he had saved Mr. Black. Super interesting. I should really ask my friend, Presidential Penis, about this, because he's really much more involved and knowledgeable about economy shit and financial shit. Ask him what he thinks about this article, because I feel like this is, even though we're not getting everything, we're getting a lot. We're getting a lot more than we usually get about what it's like to be Epstein's client. 6 months later, in November 2016, the dispute was still simmering. Mr. Epstein said that Mr. Black urgently needed to clean up the procrastination-produced mess that was his estate, and that Mr. Black's children had contributed to. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and read this. Our email excerpt. At least for a few weeks, I am unable to commit much time and make any future plans to guide you in the redoing of your procrastination-produced mess. That being said, the tasks at hand are the following. You have a bomb of colored string that your slurred children have formed. It has to be very carefully unwound. And this was in 2016. This was when it was already not cool to use that terminology. This is, you know what? I'm getting the feeling this Epstein guy, pretty bad. Yes, right? Yeah, okay. You guys are on the same page as I am. That's a threat. Sounds like a mob boss extortion racket. That's exactly what I'm thinking here. I think he's I've kept you safe. It'd be a shame if something would happen to all your money or whatever. He's this is what that is, right? This is what's going on here. But he is giving him shit a bit that has to be done. This is, working with his estate. That is supposedly what Epstein was doing for these people. It's just, why pay $170 million for it still not to really be done properly? The long pressure campaign may have worked. Mr. Black kept bankrolling Mr. Epstein into 2017. Earlier that year, he lent Epstein about $30 million, but Epstein repaid only $10 million. Oh, you know what? So maybe this is where that extra 20 mil came from in the new number. Interesting. Mr. Black's last recorded payment of $8 million came April 2017, according to a report by the law firm DeShare that Apollo hired to review Mr. Black's relationship with Mr. Epstein. He fired Epstein because he was disruptive and believed the fees for his services were excessive. Yeah, that's definitely seems true. Leon, are you an idiot? Did you not know that 170 million was way too much to pay anyone for this shit? But even after the payment stopped, Mr. Black kept soliciting his friend's advice. One of Mr. Black's advisors emailed Epstein to say that Mr. Black had requested that he provide a high-level review of Mr. Black's 1,700-page federal tax return. Weeks later, Mr. Epstein's criminal enterprise began to unravel. So that's 2018. What happens in 2018? Say it with me. Perversion of Justice. Series of articles are published by the Miami Herald under written by Julie K. Brown. The reason why Epstein went to jail for the second time. The reason why we know his name. Perversion of Justice. So this was just weeks later. Oh, October 2018. Okay. October 2018, November 2018, Miami Herald published a series of articles about Epstein's sweetheart plea deal a decade earlier. Blah, 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 blah. He dies in jail. We all know that. Mr. Black initially played down his ties to the notorious predator. And everybody was like, okay, that's chill. That's cool. After the Times reported in 2020 that Mr. Black had paid Mr. Epstein as much as $75 million. See, this is what I'm saying. It's been a growing sum of money. But I guess in 2020, $75 million was what they thought. And then it turned out they were like, oh, fuck. Yeah, you gotta go, bud. Yeah, you gone. You gone, Mr. Black. Leon. More like Lee gone. I don't know what's going on, Mr. Mad Apple. One Mad Apple. I don't know what's happening with that. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting, DM Collins. I don't know if I've ever seen that chalkboard. I'll have to look that up. Let me make a note of that. Sorry. Okay. I have no idea why you were censored there when I'm at Apple. When you get censored on this, does it tell you like what word was bad? I don't know why that's happening to you. Okay, so investigators found out it was 170 million, which were flagged by the Bank of America as suspicious. They also discovered Mr. Black had paid millions of dollars to 8 women. At least 3 of these were listed among Epstein's associates and victims. So 8 women got settlements from Black, or whatever, like hush money or whatever it is. And 3 of them were Epstein associates and victims. How interesting. Almost seems like what you would see from a international child trafficking, or I don't even want to say child trafficking. I think after Epstein went to jail the first time, he mostly was with the women were old or above the age of consent, but he was still trafficking them. It's still a crime. But where was it? Let's read this again. Blonde, red, or brunette, spread out geographically, with his net of fish. Jeff's now the old man in the sea. The net of fish. Not the most fun metaphor, but that's what we got. Lawyers working for the territory's attorney general. And that, by the way, if you're just tuning in, that is a poem written by Leon Black about Jeffrey Epstein for his 50th birthday. All right. Now, we are almost done with this article. I'll just read it. Authorities in the U.S. Virgin Islands, where some of Mr. Epstein's businesses had been based and many of his sex crimes had taken place, opened their own investigation of Mr. Epstein's financial partners, including Mr. Black. Lawyers working for the territory's attorney general interviewed at least 2 women who claimed they'd been sexually abused by Mr. Black after Mr. Epstein introduced them, according to several people briefed on the matter in interview notes. So wait, are those the same 3 that they just mentioned? Oh no. 2 women, 3 women. So I'm confused. Is that 5 or is it the same 3? I don't know. It is unclear whether the Attorney General's office substantiated these allegations. In 2023, Mr. Black agreed to pay the territory, Virgin Islands, $62.5 million to end the investigation. Whit Clay, a spokesman for Mr. Black, said at the time, the settlement did not involve any allegations of misconduct. He said it was simply to resolve claims arising from the unintended consequences of the fees that Mr. Black had paid Mr. Epstein. The end. That's the end of it. So, okay. I did read another article from the Daily Beast where they talked to one of Mr. Black. I don't want to call him Mr. Black, but they reached out to Leon Black's representatives, and they pointed out that Matt Goldstein was one of the writers on the New York Times story. Matt Goldstein is a Times reporter who covers Wall Street and white-collar crime and housing issues. And they pointed out that Matt Goldstein actively advised Guzel Ganyeva, if you remember this person's name. She was one of the people who accused, what's his name, Leon Black, of sexual assault. So Goldstein apparently advised her, which we learned through dozens of emails and text messages found in Discovery. Her complaint was ultimately dismissed with prejudice and the decision upheld by the appellate court. Now, obviously, I don't have any issue with him doing that and being a reporter. Like, he's a white collar crime reporter, right? Is what it says? Yeah. He covers Wall Street and white collar crime and housing issues. So, like, if, let's say I don't know how he was in contact with this Guinevere person. I think that it's like, I think it's more like he probably knew them. I'm totally guessing here. I don't know how they got in touch, but she was, I'm sure, very afraid of making an allegation against one of the richest guys on earth, right? This like mega billionaire fucking private equity fuck. This fucking freak. She was like, oh God, maybe I should talk to this dude who knows a lot about this world. Maybe they met at a party or something. Who knows? So I got no issue with him doing that. I think that's totally fine. But why the fuck wasn't that disclosed in this article, if that is true? Like, why am I finding that out from a Daily Beast article that's about this article? Like, the Daily Beast article, it just kind of goes over everything that we just read. It's like, according to the New York Times, blah, 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 blah. But then at the very end, they're like, oh, we reached out to them too, and this is what we found out. And then, like, that's weird, right? I feel like that's weird. I do think that is relevant to this article. Anyway, it's annoying. I mean, I don't know. I don't think there's anything nefarious happening here or anything like that. It's just, I'm annoyed that they left themselves open to, this kind of an accusation. So there you go, guys. This is cool. Like, cool. I don't know if I should use the word cool, but it's interesting. Like, this is an interesting article. We get a really, not exactly an up close look at how Epstein managed his actual clients and how he spoke to them and how he managed them and like what he did for them. But we got a much closer look at that than I think we ever had before. I think it's really interesting that the way he's speaking to him, as a few of you pointed out, is like mob boss, is extortive. It's extortion, what he's doing. He's like, listen, you'll be fucked if you get rid of me. You got to fire everybody. Your kids are slurs. I don't know. It's quite strange. Okay. I will look into this. This comment thing because I mean, get a lot of people complaining about being censored here, and I'm not about that. I'm not about that. There's. Did you see people in the UK theorizing Ghislaine is leaking the stuff about Andrew to take the pressure off Trump? I think the stuff about Andrew. You mean like the email and stuff like that? I mean, maybe, but there's been a bunch of new shit about Andrew that is coming out in the Virginia Giuffre book. which I'm gonna read that. I'm gonna read it, and I'll do a full stream breaking it down and stuff. But yeah, I don't want to get into it right now. But I mean, I don't know. Could be, but everything about Andrew is connected to Ghislaine, so like that doesn't even make sense to me. And Ghislaine is like one of Prince Andrew's like strongest soldiers. If you look at the thing in what's it called, the Todd Blanche interview, she goes out of her way to like defend Prince Andrew, and she really didn't have to do that. So I don't think so. I did hear about this. I haven't quite looked into that. I wanted to show you guys something much more important. Much more important. 1 second here. Where is it? Where is it? Here. So speaking to Julie K. Brown, the Miami Herald writer who wrote the Perversion of Justice series, she posted this today. Or not today. When was this? A couple days ago. She says, breaking news. It appears from docs released today that Jeffrey Epstein had a tentative meeting set with Matt Menchel in 2011. Matt Menchel was one of the top federal prosecutors who gave Epstein his sweetheart plea deal in 2008. I have reached out to him for comment. Okay, so this is crazy. He had a meeting with him. This could be huge, right? This could be like a big deal. But honestly, it's nothing. It's nothing. It isn't the thing that I'm interested in here. Tentative appointment manager. Wow. Look at this. Look at who else he was set to meet with. Same day. Tentative appointment with Chris Poole. Chris Poole. Anybody know who Chris Poole is? That is the guy. That's the guy who made 4chan, Moot. Christopher Poole. Yeah. Do you guys know about this? Christopher Poole. This dude. The guy that made 4chan founder. So apparently he was supposed to maybe meet with Epstein. You know, like it could be a different Christopher Poole. I suppose that's not like the world's most unique name of all time. But still, that's that could be. I mean, I could see it. I mean, Epstein was trying to meet a bunch of like tech people, right? He was trying to get in with all these like tech billionaires. I don't know of anyone else with that name. Finland. Christopher Poole. I'll put minus 4chan. Oh, there's a comedy director named Christopher Poole, a gang member from the Bloods. I bet it was this guy that the Jeffrey Epstein was meeting with. Life in prison for shooting a man in the heart as he urinated on the street. This guy, I guess. Christopher Poole, a British comedian. But no, I mean, doesn't it make sense that it would be the 4chan Christopher Poole? Like, first of all, you know that Christopher Poole is like at least pretty much like chill about, you know, pedophiles, being a anime fan and creator of 4chan. Plus, he was in the tech world at this time. In 2011, he was launching his own site. What was it called again? Canvas. He was launching like a new version of 4chan that was like part image board, part it doesn't have any pictures of it. Let me see if I can find an article here. Here we go. Part image board, part like Photoshop sort of thing. So it was supposed to be like you could, I don't know if you can see from this, but like no, I don't accept cookies. What the heck? Okay. Somebody posts a picture like this horrifying one of a baby. Jesus. How did they have AI before AI? But see how it's like remixed from this. So it's like, he was hoping it would help like develop, memes. meme culture, I guess, by allowing people to like, they wouldn't have to download the thing and put it into Microsoft Paint and whatever, like add captions and shit like that. They could just do that on the site. It's not a bad idea, although this is a simply like, I hate this. I truly hate this thing there. But yeah, a collaborative image-centric forum called Canvas, but very similar to kind of like a 4chan Reddit hybrid where you can upvote and downvote things as well. Like, so it's not quite like 4chan was. But yeah, no, this thing failed. But this is what he was working on in 2011. When is this article from? Oh, okay. January 31st, 2011. And this was when? November. Okay, so the end of the year. Tentative appointment with Chris Poole. Who could that be? Anyway, we're getting to the real bottom of things here on the Chill Goblin, Jeffrey Epstein. We're really dunking into the dunk tank. Yeah, Bannon was involved with the 8chan guys. I mean, yeah, like later on with, you mean Ron and Jim Watkins? Later on during, the run of, having a little brain fart here. I don't know, the run of QAnon, I should say. But yeah, the HBO QAnon documentary is incredible, so good. Really recommend that. My two favorite sources of information. I mean, there's also a good documentary on Q from Vice. I forget what it's called, but they come to a different conclusion than the HBO one does. I think that the reality is it's hard to explain, but I definitely think Jim and Ron Watkins are like absolutely like, Q. Like they're Q, at least after it migrated to 8chan. I believe Paul Ferber is the closest idea that they have for who originally started Q, although I don't know, I'm a little bit skeptical about that. But highly recommend if you're interested in QAnon, like, the actual history of QAnon. What is it? Where did it come from? Blah, 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 blah. Check out the HBO documentary and check out the podcast Q Clearance by Jake Hanrahan from Popular Front. Really, really good. And that podcast came out like fucking, when did Q Clearance come out? Like so long ago. And like it all holds up. The Hunt for QAnon. 2025? No, that's not right. 2021. Yeah, okay. 2020. So it started, the first season, 2020. I don't even know if I've listened to season 2. But so back in 2020, he called, he was like, it's Jim and Ron Watkins. And then that, several people were Q over different periods of time. Then it later kind of emerged from the what's it called? Oh God, what is the HBO Q documentary called? Into the Storm or something like that, or HBO QAnon doc? Yeah, Into the Storm. Q Into the Storm. Cullen Hobeck, yes. His documentary sort of is like, it's Ron. It's specifically Ron Watkins. But then there's the Vice documentary that they didn't really find Ron or Jim Watkins, but they found like a bunch of guys who were doing like ARGs, alternate reality games, and like, I think it's called like the fucking Firefly Collective or something like that. Vice QAnon doc. No, not this one. QAnon 101? The Search for Q? I think this is right. I think this is it. Yeah, Vice. Yeah, this is it. These guys come up with a different, what the heck? It's not available in my country? How dare you? How dare you? But I guess they want you to pay for it, but whatever. Here it is on the Internet Archive. Can I actually watch it though? Oh yeah. Oh, there you go. So it's on the Internet Archive. Amazing. Love it. Best website. But yeah, 3 episodes. I think that there is something to this. I don't think it's as good as the HBO one, but I think that there is, at least at the beginning, there was a. I'm not told. Oh yeah, I do have a VPN, Finland. I just don't have it turned on while I'm streaming because it's it'll just make everything slower, and I'm struggling to be able to manage everything with the internet that I do have. Yeah, gang. You know what? It's not too late. I do have another thing that I actually wanted to go over today. Should I do it? Should I? I don't know. Or we could do something fun. Okay, here's something cool. Yeah, I found this online today. Let me see. Whoops. No, come on now. Come on then. Why is it doing this? Okay, one sec, gang. My computer is not accepting I'm typing it into the URL bar, and then it's like, oh, did you want to Google this? I'm like, no. There we go. All right. So there's actually a tweet about this article. Hey, what's going on, Godels? This guy, some random dude, Urasol, he said, everybody on the newly uncovered connections to Epstein has been on my Epstein network map since 2019. And I was like, oh, this guy's got his own, like, Epstein map? And I checked it out. This guy's got, like, a really, like, in-depth, like, thing here. Like, check this out. This guy made this all. I think he based it a lot on Whitney Webb's work, which is kind of funny because, like, I've been thinking lately of making something like this because I'm trying to read through Whitney Webb's books, The United States of Blackmail, and my God, it is so hard. It's a real slog, unless you are, I don't know, somebody who isn't me, I guess. I think for maybe for other people, it's probably not as difficult as it is for me, but I'm a very visual learner, and this book is so many names and companies and whatever, and I'm like, I need to see this laid out. Like, it'll just be like, well, this person back in 1912 started this company, and then his sons took it over, and they each married these people, and blah blah blah. And I'm just like, who? And then, like, later on, it gets into other stuff. So I've been thinking about making something like this to, like, try to explain the thing. But Whitney Webb, she specifically doesn't do this. Like, she's like, I don't do that. A lot of other. Let's really try to do a Whitney Webb voice. I don't do that. A lot of other guys will make the crazy boards where they, put the I don't know if that sounds anything like her. They put all the things on the bulletin board. I don't do that. I just write it down, and I think that's whatever. I don't know. I mean, if it sounds like I'm hating on Whitney Webb, I'm not. I generally like Whitney Webb. Of course, I have some disagreements with her, but I think she does really good work, and her research is very in depth. But this is all. A lot of this is based on Whitney Webb's work, I think. So look at this. I can go. Here's Jeffrey Epstein. This node. I don't know if you guys can see. It's a little small, eh? How can I make the words bigger? If I do this, would that make them bigger? No, it doesn't seem to be. The Jeffrey Epstein Network. Oh man. But it's so good. Like, we got Jeffrey Epstein, and then every person, like, it opens up and it gives you like a little explanation. Sorry, if anybody's like watching on their phone, there's no way you could read any of that. But I'll throw the link though in the chat if anybody wants to check it out. It's really cool. I spent a good amount of time on it. So you've got Jeffrey Epstein, and it's got like a explanation of him. Pretty long one, makes sense because he's kind of important here. Oh wow, really long. And then down here we've got all of these connections. So we've got funds, Carbine 911, autopsied by. So this is the guy who did his autopsy, one of his autopsies anyway. And look at this, member of EDGE organization, Council on Foreign Relations, Trilateral Commission. We were just talking about this shit. What's the EDGE organization? Hang on now. EDGE, private club for free-thinking questioners of reality. Includes members from various fields of science and engineering. Whoa, okay. Didn't know about that. But yeah, we've got people he was business partners with, Steve Hoffenberg, Leslie Wexner, Ghislaine Maxwell. The thing is this is a little bit out of date. Here. I think so. I actually had a little chat with the guy. Seemed nice. So he says here, like, he made this in 2019, and I was like, whoa, just taking a look. I've been trying to get through Whitney Webb's U.S. of Blackmail and keep wishing something like this existed as visual aid. Looks like it's based largely on her work. Thanks. Yes, quite a bit is from her. Other bits are from my own research and other people's. It's still probably quite away from being complete. I published this in the COVID era and was personally deleted from social media around that time, heavily censored, so not many people saw this. Maybe 500,000. And I was like, okay, still very cool. Any plans to do an update? Not at the moment. I put 3 months into it and I'm currently working on more powerful projects to decentralize the planet. Cool. Okay. Fighting the Antichrist. Love that. Gotcha. Haha. Deep Epstein research is probably not good for the soul, and I know that very well. Sadly, I have done many more years research into far worse topics, but I knew Epstein would be one of the rare ones that other people actually pay attention to or hear about. Yeah. Yeah. No, fair. Anyway, sorry, I didn't need to go into that, but it's just a nice little exchange I had with the guy. But yeah, so he's got all these people. And then, yeah, U.S. government is a funny one. Finland, I agree. But we've got Richard Nixon, we got Roger Stone connected to him. Obviously, Roger Stone's going to be connected to Trump. And Richard Nixon was on the Council of Foreign Relations as well. Who are all the guys on here from the Council of Foreign Relations? Let's see. And what does it say about them? The CFR meeting convened government officials, global business leaders, and prominent members of the intelligence and foreign policy community to discuss international issues. CFR publishes the bi-monthly journal Foreign Affairs and runs the David Rockefeller Studies Program, which influences foreign policy by making recommendations to the presidential administration and diplomatic community, testifying before Congress, interacting with the media, and publishing foreign policy issues. So yes, this is what I'm saying, like, these things like the Trilateral Commission or the Council on Foreign Relations, they run shit. They literally write policy for the government to put into effect. They work with both sides of the political aisle. They work with Democrats and Republicans. This is why power structure researchers like G. William Domhoff says that the Policy Planning Network, which encompasses all of these nonprofits, policy review organizations, all these types of groups. This is the political party of the elite. It's not a political party that you get to vote for, but they are essentially as powerful as, the GOP or what's the other one? Democrats. Like, they are, if anything, even more powerful because it doesn't matter to them who gets elected. It's a massive network. So we look down here. Richard Nixon's a member of the Council on Foreign Relations. Chelsea Clinton. Steve Pieczenik. Oh my God, I have a lot to say about him. I got a lot to say about Steve Pieczenik in my next video. Let's see how they write about him. U.S. government whistleblower, that's one way to put it, who publicly stated that Bill and Hillary Clinton flew on Jeffrey Epstein's flights specifically to abuse children. He also stated that George Bush Sr. had abused young boys. Steve Pieczenik is a former United States Department of State official and a Harvard-trained psychiatrist with a doctorate in international relations from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. His roles within U.S. politics were many, being the Deputy Assistant Secretary of State under Henry Kissinger, Cyrus Vance, and James Baker, and also serving the presidential administration of Gerald Ford, Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, and George H.W. Bush as Deputy Assistant Secretary. Okay, so does anybody know who this guy is? Out of curiosity? Has anybody ever heard of this dude before? Steve Pieczenik. So not all of this is true, but some of it is, well, not all of this is confirmed true, but some of it is. He was the Deputy Assistant Secretary of State under Kissinger. I do not think that this is true, but he has claimed this. This is true, blah, 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 blah. But like, yes, okay, so Biva 11, you do, okay, so you do know him. So yes, this is maybe one of Alex Jones's most insane guests. Steve Pieczenik. He was the guy who told Alex Jones that Sandy Hook was a false flag. He was the first guy to tell him that Sandy Hook was a false flag. He got Alex Jones into Trump back in the day. He believes all kinds of weird shit. He believes that Melania Trump is the real power and Trump is just a figurehead or whatever, like a puppet. And Melania Trump is the real brains behind the operation. He says that he created Bernie Sanders as a psyop. He says that Steve Pieczenik, did this. He big into the 9/11 truth movement. I mean, it does say here that he publicly stated, a whistleblower who publicly stated that Bill and Hillary Clinton flew on Jeffrey Epstein's flight specifically to abuse children. I mean, like, Hillary Clinton is not on the flight logs at all. So, like, I don't think that this is like I would not hang my hat on this motherfucker's testimony. But the weird thing about him is, he actually is really impressive. He has a really impressive resume. In addition to all this shit, he's also co-written a bunch of books with fucking Tom Clancy. Did you guys know this? Oh, man. Wrote a bunch of spy books. And if you read his books, Net Force. So this was a series created by Tom Clancy and Steve Pieczenik. It's got Tom Clancy's on the cover, but it's actually not written by either of them. It's written by Steve Perry. But yeah, this one, whatever this is, Op Center, Tom Clancy in collaboration with Steve Pieczenik. This dude, he's kind of like I almost want to compare him to like, what's the guy's name who did Scientology? L. Ron Hubbard. Because he writes a bunch of like spy novels. About psyops. He's very interested in psyops. And then he himself, like, he does psyops. Yes, I follow the Search for Tom Clancy guy on Twitter. I haven't checked out any of his stuff, though. Does he get into Pieczenik at all? What's his name? It's a podcast, right? Or I bet he does. The Hunt for Tom Clancy. Yeah. This, right? If you're new to the Hunt for Tom Clancy, this is a pretty good primer. Cool. Let me watch this.
Because all of a sudden, we view the war through a very...
Oh, sorry. It X'd out for you guys. 1 second. It might be a little quiet.
highly propagandized lens, right? And that's from every angle. That's from the Pentagon. That's from the reporters who write about it, you know? Embedding reporters with troops was the most brilliant thing the Pentagon's ever done, because all of a sudden, all they can really write are good news stories, right? And then it's in Hollywood, it's in the way we view, like, it's in the fact that, I don't know, I get like 10% off at Applebee's. Who cares? Like, I can get on a plane early, but why? You know, I went overseas, we all went overseas. We didn't make things better in Afghanistan. Like, it's not a thriving country now. Yeah. And there's been this disconnect between what the military actually is and what the military is actually doing and how it's perceived, right? And that's
funny. One Mad Apple. How to integrate yourself with boomers forever. Step 1, Alex Jones. Step 2, Tom Clancy. Step 3, Old Man Prophet. Switch the first two. That was the order he did them in, but yeah.
not accidental. You know, that's entirely like post-Vietnam, the Pentagon saying, let's never let this happen again.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'm so out of the loop. I don't know too much about Tom Clancy. I've never read one of his books. I would be curious to read more. Maybe I'll get into this.
View the war
like I said, I follow the guy, but yeah, no, I'm not super familiar with his the thesis of his work. Anyway, yes, somebody mentioned yes, he pretty much said he was playing Alex Jones for a fool. Yeah, did he say that? I know he wrote some shit for the American Journal of Intelligence, where which is like an actual peer-reviewed like journal for people who are big in the intelligence world. And he wrote it about how we need to start the U.S. needs to start doing fucking like psyops using the internet. Like, we need to start doing that right now. And this was in like 2009 or something like that. It was like while he was on Alex Jones regularly and talking about how evil psyops are and saying that fucking like Sandy Hook was a false flag and shit like that. He goes on, he writes this thing like so, and then on top of all that shit, he was an actual, like, this is true. He actually was a member of the Council on Foreign Relations. One of the most bizarre guys. Let me show you guys a picture of him if you're not familiar. Oh, not Tom Clancy. But yeah, that's him when he's young. He looks like this old, kindly old man. This is what he looks like now. Actually, he looks kind of fucked up there. But I always get like this really gentle vibes from him. Really, like, he has kind eyes. I guess that's what makes him so good at psyops. And yeah, Biva mentions Knowledge Fight always used to cover him. Yeah, they have a really good episode. I think it's literally called like All About Steve, that gets into like a bunch of shit about this. I'm sure every guy that high up in the State Department is on the Council on Foreign Relations. You think so? I mean, there's only so many members. You know, like if we go to, here's the Wikipedia page for Trilateral Commission, but if we go to, there we go, Council on Foreign, oh yeah, look at this, members of the Council on Foreign Relations. Like, board of directors, no, and then like, so is this it? International Advisory Board, which has no role in governance. So these are just people who whatever, and then these are people who were in it before, I guess. And look who else is on the fucking council. Leon Black. Bill Clinton, Chelsea Clinton. Just like all of my highlighted names. This is a good time for my highlights. George Richard N. But George H.W. Bush is on it. Robert Hunter. Vanessa Carey, daughter of John Kerry. So many Epstein connections on here. Like, actually. That's nuts. David Petraeus. Bill Richardson, another fucking guy on Epstein's client list. Lynn Forrester de Rothschild, one of Epstein's clients. Jeffrey Sachs. Wait, what the heck? Leslie Stahl. Larry Summers, George Stephanopoulos. George Stephanopoulos, like, this guy used to actually be like, you know, he used to be Clinton's White House press secretary before he was whatever. Was he in Epstein's Black Book, or is he on the flights? I forget. Jake Tapper. Vicky Ward. I didn't know she was on it. Vicky Ward's on the fucking Council on Foreign Relations. That's crazy. That's nuts. Paul Wolfowitz. Yeah. Wait, did they not put Jeffrey Epstein on here? Because he was on. And he's definitely notable. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Didn't get highlighted because they put Jeffrey E. Epstein. Huh. What an insane thing. One of the presidents, one of the most evil guys ever, Alan Dulles. Yeah. No, I mean, this is a, like, you know, the most insane conspiracy theorists like to talk about this shit. And this is one of those things that they're not totally wrong about. Like, this is bad. Oh, in 2010. I figured their connection would have been like during what is known as Bill Clinton's presidency. Oh yeah. Yes, I definitely have seen the stuff about Charlie Kirk. I don't think I think it's I'm of two minds about it. I mean, number one, I do think it's bullshit. I don't think that Charlie Kirk was killed by Israel. That wouldn't be the type of thing they would do. They would cut off his, like, because Charlie Kirk was like, he was like a fucking very pro-Zionist guy, you know, and he could sense the changing tide, like a lot of people on the right are sensing right now, where, you know, you got the Fuentes part of the fucking the Fuentes part of the movement, you know, the fascists, the actual anti-Semites being like, yo, Israel is evil. Like, Israel's bad. In fact, not only Israel is bad, but Jews are bad in general. The people who are actually like anti-Semitic, the people who actually use Zionism, anti-Zionism to cover up their anti-Semitism, fascists. And much like, you know, we had on the left, or at least like the liberal part of the left, after October 7th, we had this kind of divide where all of a sudden people were like, wait, but you guys don't support Israel? Oh, I guess I'm not like a leftist anymore. I guess I'm not a liberal. Maybe I do support Trump or whatever. Like, you had that kind of a fucking annoying movement. The right is having that right now, right? And you're getting like all of these guys like Tucker Carlson, you know, at Charlie Kirk's funeral fucking celebration, whatever the fuck that thing was, celebration of life, I don't know, that fireworks show that they did. He goes up and he's like, remember in the Bible when the Jews plotted to kill Jesus? Well, I think that they did that again. And I think it was Jews from the same part of the world as that. Like, he basically said that, not in so many words, but that's what he meant. It was very clear. And, you know, so like there are tons of anti-Semites on the right, genuine anti-Semites. Now, at the same time, up until the fucking Zionist shit started taking off, it seemed like, you know, the fucking racist shit started taking off, let's say anti-Semitism, let's just call it what it is. A lot of the blame seems to just be going towards trans people. And I think this is better. I think I would prefer that the right be struggling over this than having just full speed ahead against trans people. But it's still deeply uncomfortable. If you look into the shit that Charlie Kirk was saying, like, I'm sure I could pull it up. Hang on. Charlie Kirk messages, turning point. Yeah, this might be it. Hang on. Yeah, conflicts with donors. Where is it? Okay, I mean, I know I actually retweeted it, so why don't I just look at my Twitter? At some point. Oh, God, I tweet too much. Here it is. All right, so this was Candace Owens released a text message exchange she claims proves Charlie Kirk 2 days before his murder, complaining about Jewish donors pressuring him over Israel, with Kirk allegedly saying Jewish donors play into all the stereotypes. So yeah, this is actual anti-Semitism, guys. If you were wondering, this is what it looks like. Charlie Kirk just lost another huge Jewish donor. Also, it's funny that this is what Candace Owens searched to find it, the word donor. $2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker. I'm thinking of inviting Candace. Candace, outspoken anti-Semite, doesn't think Hitler did anything wrong within the boundaries of Germany. So Charlie Kirk's issue with Israel, nothing to do with the fucking genocide, nothing to do with the fucking Holocaust of the Palestinian people and state, the destruction of the Palestinian state and the absolute abominations Israel is visiting daily upon its captured, open air prison apartheid oppressed population. No. His issue, the thing that makes him want to invite Candace or whatever, go against Israel, is that it's not that they didn't give him $2 million a year. They stopped giving him $2 million a year. They were giving him $2 million a year, and then they stopped. So this is what just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million a year, because we won't cancel Tucker. And so they were like, hey, Tucker's actually fucking hates Jews. Don't have him on. And then Charlie Kirk's like, fuck that. We're going to have Candace Owens on too. Ugh. Charlie Kirk, Jewish donors play into all the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. Nowhere in that is the actual fucking shit about the atrocities that they are committing, but please don't invite. And then the other guy goes, please don't invite Candace. Who knows who this is? That might feel good short term, but it's not good long term, in my opinion. Like all groups, you're going to get a wide variety of opinions. That nasty free will thing that God bestowed on us makes life frustrating at times. Oh, rats. After the dust settles a bit, maybe reach back out to the Jewish donors and see if you can get them to give you millions of dollars again. This guy was not an anti-Zionist. This dude was literally fucking going wherever the wind took him. This Charlie Kirk's opinions were for sale. Fucking Israel did not assassinate Charlie Kirk, but they did something maybe arguably Charlie Kirk might consider this worse. They stopped giving him $2 million a year. Absolutely fucking pathetic. This dude, Charlie Kirk, he's his entire career. He started out when he was 17 or whatever, getting Koch brothers money, getting fucking all these billionaires have just been funding this guy his entire career. This is why this whole thing where everyone's like, he was so big, he was so popular, the kids loved him. No, he wasn't. No one thought he was cool. Yes, I know, his goal was to turn kids to the right, and the kids did turn to the right. But I got a strong feeling that was more to do with guys like Andrew Tate, who kids actually look at and are like, oh, that guy's cool. I want to be like him. This guy's aspirational asshole, Charlie Kirk, who the fuck no one thought this guy was cool. This guy had massive funding. We do not even know the extent. This $2 million a year from an unnamed huge Jewish donor, and this is another huge Jewish donor. Presumably there were others. Who knows how many millions of dollars this guy was getting? This guy was extremely anti-Israel, anti-Palestine, whatever, pro-Israel, pro-Zionist. He has a quote from just a few months before he got killed where he said something like, "Stupid Muslims, stop killing Jews. Then we wouldn't genocide you," or something like that. He said that like on stage. Like this guy was a atrocious like Islamophobe and an anti-Semite, but only one of those paid, so he had to do this in public. And with the shifting tides, he was going against Israel because of the way that the base of the Republican Party, or the base of the ultra-conservative wing of the Republican Party, was turning. This is like plain as day right here, as far as I can see. Shapiro is going to have a lot harder time making that move. I think Shapiro is going to be a diehard, like, last stand, whatever, like Israel supporter. Shapiro is like, I almost feel bad for him, despite the fact that he's a fucking freak. I almost feel bad for him because he is so associated with his own Judaism, and he's been such a bigot, so fucking harmful, so Islamophobic, so whatever, like all of these things. And now he's in a position where he actually can't shift. Like, how is he going to join the fucking Fuentes coalition? He can't. It's like that first they came for the blah, blah, blah. It's like that, but like Shapiro's version of that poem ends with the Jews line. Then they came for the Jews, and oh shit, that one was me, and fuck, I wish I had said something earlier. But yeah, I'm sorry, I might not be talking about the same thing you are, One Man Apple. The one country very interested in Charlie Kirk's autopsy weeks before he died. Okay, that's interesting. Let's check it out. I'm looking for something to do. Let's check it out. Okay, 51:49. Oh, 10 minutes? Easy. Let's watch it.
Today I'm going to show you a set of facts and coincidences for you to ponder.
Okay.
But for my safety and your safety, I will not be coming to any conclusions, and I highly implore you to do the same.
Okay, cool.
With those ground rules? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Fact number 1. The hospital where Charlie Kirk was pronounced dead is called Timpanogos Regional Hospital in Orem, Utah. Fact number 2, as of the recording of this video, the bullet that fatally struck Charlie Kirk has not been identified, and the autopsy carried out under Utah's chief medical examiner, Dr. Deidre Almaro, remember that name, has also not yet...
Oh, he's got a funny shirt too, USS Liberty. This is the boat, that the U.S. boat that got attacked by Israel during the 6-Day War. Excuse me, when was that? 60s, some point. So he's referencing like Israel doing shit like this. The thing that makes it tough is that Israel does sometimes do shit like this. Yeah, it's funny.
Been publicly released. Fact 3, this is a controversial fact, but one I believe to be true. Charlie Kirk did not have an exit wound. This next part I don't quite believe, but the surgeon's remarks were that the bullet absolutely should have gone through, but that Charlie's bone was so healthy and the density was so impressive that he's like a man of steel. Now, we don't know yet which surgeon made those claims, but here's a list of a few surgeons that I could verify through publicly available records that are affiliated with Timpanogos.
Yeah, Finland. Wild to have 20 high-definition Zapruder films being analyzed in depth. Such a good point. I mean, what's really interesting to me, because I have fallen down the JFK rabbit hole. Like, I have gotten all out. At different times, I've believed a million different things about this, about JFK and his assassination. And the shit is, and they were basing it on like one film that came out long after, like years after the event itself. And what I find so striking about this assassination is how similar it is. Even though we have multiple angles recording from the same event, like of the act, we see everything. What I find so interesting is how similar the speculation is. It's really, really similar. How all these different groups responded to it. Everyone was like, well, it was definitely my enemies. You know, like notably, like the right was like, it was trans people right away. Oh, you know, it's Jews, it's this, it's that. But even leftists were like, well, it definitely was a fucking Trump supporter. It was definitely Fuentes' guys. It was definitely this, definitely that. But like, you know, like that's what happened after JFK died too. The CIA immediately was publishing, like shadow publishing articles about how it was the communists who killed him. Like everyone immediately rushes to make it their pet project, whatever. Anyway, but yes, it is wild. It is in fact wild.
Verify through publicly available records that are affiliated with Timpanogo's regional hospital. Okay. We have Dr. Stephen Nealman, Dr. Robert Patterson, Dr. Lee Trotter, and Dr. Lee Patterson. Now, here comes the coincidence.
Didn't he say Patterson
According
twice?
to Google Trends, someone, maybe multiple, was searching Timpanogo's regional hospital from an IP address originating in Israel, enough to cause this spike about a month before he died. That is bizarre.
Okay, I guess that's kind of interesting. I don't know. Like, so the way that the Google Trends things work is it's kind of a bad metric because it just goes from 0 to 100, but you don't know how many searches that is, you know? Like, you don't know if that was like 1,000 or whatever, or it could just be one. One on one day and then none on every other day would still take that from 0 to 100. So, yeah, I mean, like I guess this looks weird, and I mean, yeah, maybe it's weird that someone in Israel happened to Google this particular hospital, but there could easily be an innocuous version of this.
Enough to cause this spike about a month before he died. That is bizarre, isn't it? A bizarre coincidence, I have to say. But remember.
Yeah, right? Like this metric is BS and means nothing. Yeah, that's my understanding as well.
We are not drawing any conclusions. We're only making observations. But wait, there's more.
And so I wondered who the medical examiner was there in Utah. And I looked her up. She's a woman named Deidre Amaro. And she was looked up, but this time not in the District of Columbia, but in Israel, which I thought was very strange. June 30th of 2025. Somebody with an IP address originating in Israel decided they were very interested in Deidre Amaro.
Indeed, an interesting coincidence, finding out that our greatest ally, TM, was not only interested in Timpanogo's regional hospital, but also very interested in finding out more about Dr. Deidre Amaro, the head medical examiner of the state of Utah. And those were...
Yeah, I don't know. This seems like pretty weak straws to grasp at to me.
Not the only searches that
like who? Like it could be any, it could be like somebody in Israel had a family member in, I think it was Utah, right, where the hospital was, and they were like Googling it. Oh, who's the doctor that my cousin is seeing right now? Like whatever. Like, you know, it doesn't. To me, this is far from a smoking gun.
Our good friend Baron Coleman found.
Stephen Nealman, July 18th, 2025. This was out of our friends on the other side of the planet over there. Very curious about the surgeons in Utah, you'll find out.
It's like, our friends very, very curious. Like this, again, this could have been one search. This is, in fact, the fact that it's only one day and then it's back down to nothing, it probably isn't like multiple searches. It's probably just one guy searching. I know it looks crazy that it goes from 0 to 100, but you know, that's just the way Google Trends operates. It's not really useful for this sort of search.
Friends on the other side of the planet over there. Very curious about the surgeons in Utah, you'll find out. Robert Patterson, MD, July 23.
Okay, this one. Okay, so you can see that there has actually been multiple searches here, because on the one day it goes up and then it keeps going up to 100. So it's like must have got, I don't know, 4 searches one day and 5 searches the next day, something like that.
4. I go to the next one. Lee Trotter, someone with an IP address originating in Israel. looking up Surgeon Lee Trotter near about that same July 20 time period. Are there other surgeons in the area? Yeah, as a matter of fact, there is. There's a guy named Lee Patterson. So I look up Lee Patterson.
I mean, yeah. So, okay. Yeah, let's actually look it up. Google Trends. What the heck was it? What was the name of the hospital? Did it say? Utah Hospital, yeah. Oh, geez. What's the name of that? What's the name of the hospital? Timpanogos. Timpanogos Regional Hospital. Timpanogos Regional Hospital. Let's check it out. All right, so I'm looking at Canada, and not enough data. And let's not look in for the past day. Let's look at what time period are they looking at? Just over time. So looks like they go from 2024 to current day. Like, let's say August 31st. So okay. Let's say 1/1/2024 to let's say August 30th, 2025. Okay. All right. Oh, look at this. So this is where I'm at, Canada. Bibbly, 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 boo. Bam. That is January 5th to 11th, 2025. Now, why are our friends in Canada searching 100 times on months before our friend Charlie Kirk got killed? Now, what the heck? Now, what on earth? Why? Let's see who else maybe killed him. What about Afghanistan? Nope, nothing. Albania? Okay. What do we want to try next? Let's try China. China. None. 0 searches. What about Russia? Let's go through the axis of evil here. Bibbly bibbly boo. I could just type it in, but I wanted to scroll. Nothing. That's kind of funny. Okay, let's try Israel. And, well, wait, what? No results. Huh? Wait, what am I doing wrong? Wait, what did they do? Israel, Timpanogos Regional Hospital. That's what I put in. And then, interest over time, Israel past 12 months. Oh, yeah, good point, guys. China and Russia don't use Google. Yeah, you're right. Whoops. Well, okay, but why is this not showing up? Could it be that it's been censored? Was it Israel past 12 months? I mean, okay, let's put the exact same thing. Past 12 months. Nothing. Yeah. So the thing is, the other thing is, yeah, the RCMP got him, yeah. You know, people did say after Charlie Kirk got killed, people did say that they heard galloping hooves. And one of the bullets had, "Sorry, bud," written on it. Sorry, eh? And look at this. Look at this. Today, there has been a small bump in searches in Canada. That's me, by the way. This wasn't here before. That's me searching that in Canada. That's funny. Oh, and look at this. All of the activity in Ontario. Okay, but it's still not showing me anything. Well, gang, I don't know. I mean, yeah, but why? Island, Israel. Why is it not showing Israel? This is another thing about Google Trends, is that it's really finicky, and sometimes you'll see something, and then like sometimes I found it where I get something when So Gold is saying when I check my own, it does this shit. Like sometimes what happens is like I'll see a crazy result, and I'm like, oh my god, well let me zoom in on this time period, and then I'll zoom in on the time period, and it'll be completely different. So it's like, maybe because I'm not looking at the exact range of dates that this guy was looking at or something. Like, this is all very kind of fuzzy data. Google Trends sucks, the website doesn't work. Yeah, so hopefully this demonstration kind of proved that. But yeah, I agree. I think that all this stuff is basically bullshit. How far ahead do I have to go? Okay, so it seems like we're almost done anyway. Okay.
That week on either side of July 20 was very interested in all the people who practiced surgery at Timpanogos Regional Hospital in Orem, Utah.
Once again, great work by Baron. A lot of interesting coincidences to just think about, just to ponder. No conclusions. Now, I checked with Google Gemini just to see how
Okay, Finland, I'll do this for you. We can look at the UK. Come on, nothing. Wow, it really was Canada, guys. It really was Canada. Crazy. Yeah, one of the bullet casings was marked with, "Hey, bud, you out for a 2-4 or what there? Oh, out for a rip, are ya?" Gosh, I see we don't really say gosh. Oh, bud. One of the bullet cases was marked with, "Holy guy. Bam. Man's got killed, man. Man's got straight murked. Man's got murked in the neck, man." Man, I'm a lot edgier this long after the death. It's not too soon anymore, right? We can make jokes about Charlie Kirk.
It would interpret these data points, and it came back with two different scenarios. The first of which they say is the strongest interpretation, non-organic, targeted activity. Okay, they say that the most probable and
this is the research is he asked Gemini, he asked AI. So what do you think? Does this prove that Israel killed him?
Logical interpretation, given the nature of the data, is that the search spikes were caused by non-organic activity, likely originating from a small or a very small number of users. Okay,
What?
They say it could be for reconnaissance or verification, quote, a small group or even a single individual.
I don't understand how that's non-organic. Why would that not be organic even if it's a small group? Like, even if it was Israel trying to be like, we should kill him, that's still organic. Like, non-organic activity would be, to me, like bots. Like when somebody is trying to skew something, they get a bunch of fucking bot farms in Bangladesh and whatever, Russia, and skew the results or whatever. But like, do bots even fucking Google? I thought bots just like tweeted in whatever. I don't know. Okay, somebody was really concerned about Google Trends, I guess.
Potentially someone involved in or aware of the planning of the assassination was using Google to conduct online reconnaissance or verification of the medical and administrative elements associated with the intended location of the attack or the immediate aftermath. The second is what they're calling a remote interpretation, extraordinary coincidence, highly unlikely. They say that this interpretation relies on an extremely improbable string of coincidences, quote, a separate, unrelated medical event, okay? A prominent individual in Israel, a relative or a close contact, was scheduled to be admitted to.
This is an extraordinary coincidence, highly unlikely. Yeah, okay.
Or had an existing legal or medical dispute with the exact same specific niche, regional hospital in Utah.
I'd assume Mossad uses VPNs, yeah.
Utah, the head medical examiner, and or surgeons in the weeks leading up to the assassination. Again, that is not me. That is Google Gemini. And remember, Okay, I have to keep reminding people of this. We are not coming to any conclusions, just looking at the possibilities. Speaking of which, I also want to call attention to the dates of these search spikes, all clustered around the month of July 2025. Because do you guys remember what happened back in July? That is right, the TPUSA Student Action Summit, July 11th through 13th, which included a very controversial speech by Tucker Carlson.
And I think the real answer is Jeffrey Epstein was working on behalf of intel services, probably not American. Now, no one's allowed to say that that foreign government is Israel because we have been somehow cowed.
Oh, was this the event that the Israeli donor was, or the Jewish donor was backing out of funding $2 million for? Is this the very event, perhaps?
Into thinking that that's naughty.
Yep, Tucker was saying the funny part out loud there. And also, the conference featured a fiery debate about Israel between Dave Smith and Josh Hammer.
I'm disgusted, frankly, that this man is on stage, but I'll end it at that.
Okay, well, Dave, I want to give you an opportunity, about 4 minutes to respond to that. But also, I do want to, now that we had the opening salvos and the Tomahawk missiles launched, let's respond as you see fit. No, and then bring us to the 12-day war, because let's stay focused on that.
Yeah,
we can.
Well, the thing, Charlie,
but defend yourself.
Sure.
Obviously.
Well, the thing is, Charlie, as you may have noticed, and some of you may have seen some of my other debates. Every single time I come up here to debate issues, and they come up here to debate me and my character. It's all they have every single time.
So we now know for a fact through the now infamous group text first leaked by Candace Owens that Charlie's Israeli and Zionist donors were not happy with him about platforming Tucker and Dave Smith, to which he lamented, quote, "Just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker."
Okay, that was it, eh? Wow. Yeah, I mean, Jewish donors were kind of right about Tucker. It's funny that he doesn't get nearly as many accusations of anti-Semitism as, like, I don't know, Hassan Piker or, like, Ms. Rachel gets, but okay.
Thinking about inviting Candace. Ugh. He goes on to say, "Jewish donors play into all the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this."
This is extremely anti-Semitic. Jewish donors play into all the stereotypes. Bro, like, you're a bad person.
Leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. Some are now saying that he was just blowing off some steam. Another reminder, before he died, Charlie himself allegedly expressed that he thought Israel would kill him if he turned against them.
It feels, and I'm using a corporate term here, a bit like a hostile takeover, okay? Charlie builds the company organically on the basis of Charlie and Charlie's honest ideas. Suddenly, that company's got a lot of money, and Charlie's honest ideas are starting to change or maybe add more color. And now he's getting financial threats. He's being called names. He increasingly... he's being told who and what he's allowed to speak to, and he's taking a stance. He's taking a stand privately up to these people, and then it doesn't matter anymore because Charlie's dead, and those very same people who were pressing him are now doing, like, very quickly, trying to set in stone that, oh, Charlie, essentially, the energy is Charlie died for Israel. He's just one of us. Nobody ask any more questions. That is literally untrue, and we're not going to allow it, okay?
So yeah, I don't know. We can either believe that there just happened to be people in the state of Israel in July and August who were very interested in a regional hospital in the suburbs of Utah, very interested in who the state's head medical examiner was and all the different surgeons in the area, or maybe, perhaps, there's just one too many coincidences here to not investigate further. Last thing I'll say is, if Charlie's assassination was a professional Mossad hit, not saying it is, but if it was, the proof, quote unquote, shouldn't be so easily apparent that a bunch of Twitter sleuths online could figure it out in 24 hours. Okay, so for those crying,
"Oh yeah, one man apple." No, I totally, I knew that was what Charlie Kirk said. I wasn't saying that's what he said. Sorry, I hope you don't think I was saying that about our friend here, Asian Ian Carroll. Yeah, I mean, like, this guy seems fine. I got no beef with this dude. Personally, I disagree with the take he has here. Got a reference to the time Israel attacked the U.S. ship during the 6-Day War. When was that? 67? Fucking, I don't know. But it does make like the, I'll let him finish off and then I'll comment on this a little bit.
There is no evidence. Where is the evidence? Let's give the Mossad some credit here, right? They are, by all accounts, one of, if not the most sophisticated spy agency in the entire world. So credit where credit is due. That is, if they did it, which they totally didn't. That is it for me this week. Tell me, what do you think of all of these coincidences? Sound off in the comment section below. Again, a big shout out to Baron Coleman for his great work and research. If you missed part 1, I would highly recommend you go back and watch.
Gotcha.
The link will be at the end of this video. But first, before you do that, please take a second to like this video.
Wait, why'd you go so fast? Yeah, okay. All right, interesting. So I feel like I don't feel like I super need to see the first one, but I understand this is just the second part of the one. I don't know. I gotta say, my take on this is, like I've been interested in conspiracy theories for a long time, longer than I've been really like super interested in like leftist politics and stuff. Way before I had a YouTube channel, I've always had like a fucking, I guess like a guilty pleasure of like watching conspiracy theory documentaries and, you know, spending time on forums and stuff like that. And, it's all fun and games, except for it always leads, not always, but very often leads to blatant anti-Semitism. Like, I wish we could just stay with the fun, cool, like Egyptian pyramids have secret messages and there's fucking magnets under the earth and lizard people, blah, blah, blah. Like, that shit's great. And then it all turns into like the Holocaust never happened, but we should make it happen, you know, like it for some reason it just goes down that road. And when October 7th happened and there was a lot of discussion about like, well, when these people say Zionism, they really mean Jews. And obviously that isn't true. Like for most people, especially people on the left, Zionism has an actual meaning, and Zionism is not like a substitute word for Jewish people. But, I know from the amount of time that I spent in these extremely toxic anti-Semitic places that a lot of these conspiracy guys do use the word Zionist to just basically be a dog whistle for Jews. And, you know, they have other words, neocons. A lot of times when conspiracy theorists are talking about neocons, they're talking about Jewish people as a whole. And Zionists especially, like it's a thing, and it's always been there in the background. And one major bad thing that's happening about that's happening as a result of this genocide being perpetrated by Israel is that a lot of these guys have been very emboldened and have been sort of able to like walk in plain fucking sunlight and go around and be like, hey, yo, what if it was Israel that did it? What if it was the Zionists that did it? And like be taken seriously. And I think, you know, obviously Israel is doing some horrific things in the name of Zionism. And Israel, unfortunately for everyone, except for the Nazis, I guess, Israel does do some fucking shady shit with their spy agencies, their intelligence gathering. They do some fucked up shit. And it's annoying because, you know, like it's trying to refute anti-Semitic claims, but then also having to deal with, but they actually, like Israel, not Jewish people as a whole, but specifically this country, Israel, this state, does do a bunch of fucked up shit. You know, it's there's a lot of annoying kind of things with that. And one thing I've noticed with Epstein, the Epstein shit coming up right now, as it has in the last, like, God, when was that? When did Elon Musk make that tweet? Like a year ago? I guess it was like around a year ago, right? Around the election. It was shortly after the election. So maybe like 10 months ago or so. Can't quite remember. Anyway, Elon Musk made the tweet, oh, Trump's in the Epstein files. And we have seen over the last year the longest sustained interest in the Epstein case for ever. It's never been in the news this long, Epstein stuff. And I think that the way people are viewing the Epstein shit is very colored by how people are feeling about Israel right now, to the point where Israel has become the major country that everyone always brings up. Oh, definitely Israel. Like Tucker Carlson says in that speech there, well, I think he was working with intelligence, not from this country, and no one wants us to say Israel, but it's Israel. And it's like, yes. Like at the same time, it's like, I gotta be like, yes, there are definitely some things that connect Epstein to Israel. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. The dude was like BFFs with Ehud Barak. Yeah, for sure. But I also have to say, I think, like, had this happened, let's say in 2016, when everybody was talking about Russia. Remember Rachel Maddow and everybody, Russia this, Russia that, everybody, Russia did everything. I think that we'd be focusing more on Epstein's connections to Russia. But because this happens to coincide with this fucking war crimes going on in Israel that everyone is totally fixated on, I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. And I don't think that's an unnatural thing or even really bad. Like, yeah, let's examine Epstein's ties to Israel. But it also gives so much cover to these fucks like Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes to be like, great, okay, you want to get into conspiracy theories? Well, make sure you're getting into the fucking anti-Semitic ones, because like we've got a lot of fucking shit in our back catalog we could throw out at you if you want to get super anti-Semitic. Like fucking that guy, what's his name, Rathbone? He posted a thing about how it was like him with a yarmulke, like kissing a wall and being like, every U.S. president except JFK, like kissing the wall in Jerusalem or wherever it is, the wall that whatever presidents go to and people go to, whatever it is. I don't exactly know what it's called, but that's stupid. Like there are some competing theories for who killed JFK. Lone gunman, CIA, communists. Like, who knows, right? But the dumbest one by far is that it was Israel. That one is stupid. That was very dumb. But, you know, it's become really popular. It's become much more popular than it has been in the past because of what's going on in Israel and because of all the anti-Semites and Nazis trying to fucking make a thing out of this, trying to like strike while yes, that's it. Thanks, Alwo. The Wailing Wall. Trying to strike while the iron's hot. I believe the very first book to claim that Israel killed JFK. Here, let me see if I can find it. Actually, this is kind of interesting. Israel. Here, I'll put it so you guys can see what I'm typing. 1 second. Yeah. Boom. Israel killed JFK. That's probably not going to get it. But, is it? No. What's the book that it started? How Israel stole the bomb and killed JFK, the Numek story? No, that's a documentary. Dallas to Gaza. No, that sounds new. How Israel killed the Kennedys. See, these are all going to be like super fucking brutal. Let's see. There were some times that Israel was redacted in the JFK files. That was really interesting, especially relating to James Jesus Angleton. What on earth? Oh, I'm looking for a specific book. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. What if I type in book? No. Book. Israel killed JFK book. Final Judgment? Could it be? Oh, yeah, no, this is it. Okay, sorry. Yeah. This is the one. Final Judgment: The Missing Link in the JFK Assassination Conspiracy by Michael Collins Piper. This was basically where this idea came from. So who's Michael Collins Piper? Interested in politics. Started out interested in the Civil War. Blah 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 blah. Okay, I don't want to read all this shit. Fuck off. Sorry. Let's see what I can find on Wikipedia. All right, Michael Collins Piper, American political writer, conspiracy theorist, talk radio host. Newspaper, so he would contribute to the Spotlight and the American Free Press, newspapers backed by Willis Carto and noted for their anti-Semitic and white separatist, white nationalist themes. He wrote books such as The High Priest of War, in which he criticized the neoconservatives in the Bush administration. Remember, again, I just mentioned this is it does have an actual meaning, but it's also used as a, what's it called? Dog whistle for Jews. Final Judgment, where he claimed that Israel's Mossad, the CIA, and organized crime was responsible for the assassination of U.S. President John F. Kennedy. Criticized by many organizations, including the Anti-Defamation League, and I would also say ADL, another fucking annoying example of like actually a completely morally bankrupt organization that for a long time people seemed to be, like, I don't know, I used to think they were whatever, good, but obviously they are completely fucked. Genocidally, either completely fucking frothing at the mouth, genocidal, or so willfully ignorant that it's morally inexcusable anyway. Fuck the ADL. But anyway, they criticized him. Described him as a promoter of anti-Semitic conspiracy theories and Holocaust denial. What did he think about King's assassination? He also alleged that Jewish mobster Meyer Lansky and the ADL were linked to the... Wait. JFK. Wow. The ADL, he said, killed JFK too. And guess who he said killed MLK? Mossad. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, this is the guy. This is like the main guy where this idea came from. When did that book come out? Publication date 2017. Oh, wait. Fuck. Is that not? No, he died in 2015, so that can't be right. When did that book come out? All right, anyway, whatever. I don't know. 1993. This is like around the time the Oliver Stone movie came out. Bringing it all back. But yes. Globalist, Godels, another one. It's frustrating, man. Like I get a little bit like uncomfortable talking about this sort of thing. Like sometimes I get people in this chat who are like actually like anti-Semitic, like people being like throwing out the new dog whistles. Like another one, people that I've seen lately, people go, "Oh, are you noticing the pattern? Are you like, are you noticing?" Yeah, I've been noticing lately. I've been noticing. And the pattern is like, whenever somebody is evil, you look up their early life on Wikipedia, and it says that they're Jewish. The anti-Semites, the Nazis, they're more emboldened now than they've been in a long ass time. And this is the craziest part about all this is that it's fucking Israel's fault. Like, whatever. Like, I'm not going to say it's not also the fault of the Nazis, but like, it's like what Adam Friedland said to Richie Torres during his interview. He was like, everything that Israel's doing is terrible for Jews. Like, it is making anti-Semitism so much worse. It's like Richie Torres is like, well, what about all the anti-Semitism, rising anti-Semitism? And he's like, yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fucking flag with the Jewish star on it being waved above this genocide. And like Zionists saying that there is no difference between Israel's interests and global Jewish interests. And there is no, like that is fucking anti-Semitic shit, you know? Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. Yeah, crazy people can name a dozen CIA guys, mafia guys, anti-Cuba guys who are prime JFK suspects. No one can name an Israeli guy. Oh yeah, I mean fucking what's his name? Jack Ruby is Jewish, not Israeli, but he's Jewish. And Meyer Lansky is a Jewish mob guy. But like, and the whole fucking like what's it called? Like reasoning behind all this is that there is a sorry, lost my train of thought there for a second. Yeah, with JFK, people think it's because JFK told Israel they couldn't make nukes or something like that. I forget what it was. He told them something like that, and they were so mad that they killed him. But it's like, no, they just made nukes anyway. That didn't have anything to do with it, you know? Like, yeah. I mean, I think it is interesting looking at all the mob connections, all of the CIA connections. But in my mind, like, I am of the opinion, if you can watch my video on JFK on my main channel, if you're interested to hear me lay this out. My main thing is, I do think it's more likely than not that Lee Harvey Oswald was a lone gunman. I think that he was just a kind of a crazy guy, a lone nut, as they call him, a lone dipshit who just wanted to become infamous. And so he killed the president. Like Thomas Crooks, right? The guy who shot at Trump and missed. Because God told Trump to move his head slightly to the side. That guy, he didn't give a fuck who it was. He was like looking up when the next president to come through his town would be. Like it didn't matter to him if it was Trump or Biden or Kamala or I guess it was Biden at that point. Like he didn't care. He was just like, I just want to fucking become famous. Like a lot of these guys who do this, these assassinations, political assassinations, they do not have coherent politics. They don't even care about the political angle at all. The guy who killed McKinley, I forget his name, but he used to hang out with anarchists back at the turn of the century. I think it was 1901 that McKinley got killed. And this dude used to hang out with anarchists, but all the anarchists were like, dude, this guy's crazy. Like, this guy is not an anarchist. This guy's weird AF. And like, I think that this kind of like personality type, these guys who are just like, they're not thinking ahead of time, they're not fucking doing shit, whatever, they don't have a reason for doing shit. I think that is so frustrating to us. It's very similar to like a school shooter's like mentality a lot of the time. You know, like a lot of people just like, oh, how do I get famous? I either kill one famous person or I kill like a bunch of innocent people. I think that tendency, that sort of psychological pattern, that leads to a lot of frustration where people are like, fuck, like, how could it be that meaningless? There must be something, for something so important to happen, for like Charlie Kirk to get killed, there must have been for JFK to get killed, like there must have been something behind that. And sometimes there is, you know, sometimes there are conspiracies. Fred Hampton, you know, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. Yeah, I think that those guys for sure. I mean, I would even say probably RFK. Something weird is going on with that one. What's his name? Sirhan or whatever. But yeah, that's funny. Finland telling Israel they couldn't make nukes was like Jesus Angleton's number 20 reason to be mad at JFK. Yeah. And it is interesting because we did learn this recently from the leaks, the new JFK whatever docs, that Angleton was working directly with Israel for basically the entire time that the CIA and Israel existed. And that shit was blacked out in previous releases. And now we're like, oh, that's who he was working with? But there's absolutely nothing to suggest that Israel killed JFK. That just isn't a thing. I get tired of anti-Semitism being used as a shield to avoid talking about anything bad Israel does. I don't equate Jewish people around the world with anything they do unless they say otherwise. Yeah. Yeah, no, for real. I don't hesitate to talk about the evils of the Israeli state. Another thing about Israel that I find really fucking annoying is, not about Israel, but the way that people talk about Israel. A lot of people think that Israel controls the U.S. A lot of people think that, like there is a Nazi term, Zog, Z-O-G, Zionist occupied government. Don't use that term, please. That is a Nazi term. It's also just wrong. I guess it's hard to say that it's wrong because there are so many people who are whatever funded by AIPAC or J Street or whatever in the government. But the issue isn't that Israel is so powerful as this tiny fucking state that is fully funded by the U.S. It isn't that they're so powerful that they control the U.S. It's the opposite direction. Israel is so useful, so valuable to the U.S. as this piece of land, this military fucking outpost, this aircraft carrier, sitting in the middle of the Middle East around all this precious, precious oil and resources, that for the U.S. to have it there is like a fucking insurance program for the U.S. corporate elite's foreign interests. So it's very good for them. It helps the U.S. negotiating with, Iran, these other countries. It helps the U.S. when they go to war in Afghanistan or Iraq or, Syria or wherever else they decide to involve themselves. It helps to have Israel there. It helps them to have this fucking wacky, fucking crazy, unpredictable, Israel is like a fucking man with no fucking pants on, but still a shirt, holding like a machine gun in the middle of the mall. Like everyone's on edge. And everyone's just like, okay, what do we do? What do we fucking do to keep everyone safe? You know what I mean? That's a weird way to put it, but yeah, like Israel is valuable to the U.S. That's why Biden said, if Israel didn't exist, the U.S. would have to invent an Israel. And it's true. Israel is super valuable to the U.S. And because of that value, the U.S. has just encouraged Israel to become more and more fucking racist and race essentialist and fascist and blood and soil fucking palingenetic ultranationalist kind of logic. Like, we are fulfilling our ancient pledge. Like the same way that the Nazis were about the Third Reich. We're the new fucking ancient Romans or whatever. The Israelis think that exact same way. The Zionists, Israelis, most Israelis, people living in Israel, think of themselves as the blood and soil connected to the land. And it's a profound historical irony that Israel is the most fascist state on earth, the most Nazi state, really. Not even just beyond fascist, but the successors to the Nazi, whatever, ideology. It's interesting. It is interesting, and it's really fucked up. And the way the U.S. has sort of emboldened that has made Israel become more and more unhinged, and to the point now where they are they're just fucking attacking everyone. They're attacking all these fucking, they're blowing up pagers in Lebanon. They're bombing all of these different countries around them because they're fully emboldened. It's been decades of U.S. Aiding and abetting them and playing defense for them at the UN and just letting them get away with anything. They're like a spoiled yappy dog that nobody ever tried to hey, shut the fuck up. Where it's now the dog is kind of leading you around a little bit, I guess. Although I still think that they're kind of acting in the U.S.'s best interests at all times. But Not at all times. You know, it's not good for them to start firing missiles at Iran. That's not good for the U.S. Although it may be good for some of the like neoconservatives, like to use it in its actual meaning, who just want to go to war with Iran. Anyway, guys, listen. Oh God, what a rant that was. I don't know if that made any sense. And yeah, I hope nobody thought I was coming at them. One Man Apple, I do appreciate you sharing that link. I certainly don't think that like that guy doesn't seem to be like anti-Semitic or anything like that. I've seen a lot of people go down this road with Israel, and I mean, I'm not going to say it's not a worthwhile question to ask. I will say I find it's kind of to me with the conspiracies, I would rather that we uncover the conspiracy than what I saw a lot with this was immediately once it happened, people were like, it was Israel. It was Israel. And then the investigation was always just with that in mind. Like, no, well, I mean, like, personally, I think it was a lone gunman. I don't think the guy was working with anyone. But I mean, I don't have an issue with looking into it. Yeah, maybe there is. Maybe there's something I missed. Maybe there's something that we don't know yet. Maybe it was Israel. I don't know. I don't know anything. But I find it suspicious when the people who are looking into it seemed to know from the beginning that it was whatever. It's like the same way that you saw the Trump administration, and not the administration, but like just Republicans, the MAGA Republicans mostly, immediately it was trans people. And then doing whatever they could to be like, oh, it was a trans person, and the bullet was trans, and the whatever was trans, and then the shooter's roommate's trans. Like, people, like, it's fucking, that's not how you do an investigation. You don't start with the conclusion and then try to find backup for it. And to be fair, I saw a similar thing happen with people on the left who were 100% sure that it was a fucking Fuentes, like a Groyper. And yeah, I mean, like, I saw so many fucking annoying takes from liberals and leftists about, like, actually the meme shows Pepe the Frog squatting down that he was dressed. It's like, no, man, that's not even what it is. Anyways, it's annoying, man. It's annoying. That's not how we fucking get new information. And it is exactly how people responded after JFK died. Yeah. Magic bullet versus trans bullet. Exactly. Yeah, so Finland bringing this up. Yeah, Israel intelligence probably does have dirt in the U.S., but so does Saudi Arabia and a bunch of other countries. Absolutely. Church committee, and like also the CIA. Like, let's not forget of the CIA. Like, it drives me fucking crazy when I hear Tucker Carlson, or not even just him, but like a lot of fucking people, mostly liberals, will be like, obviously Epstein wouldn't have been working with an American intelligence agency. And it's like, oh, really? You don't think so? Because they're all angels over there? Like, no, like, this is well within. Epstein would not be the most evil thing the CIA has ever done. Or whatever, evil person the CIA has ever worked with, let's say. U.S. definitely has a conservative influence on Israel. Yeah, I mean, Israelis are much further right than Americans are, but the foreign policy of both parties tends towards fascism. Like, tends towards like ultranationalist, and you gotta do whatever the U.S. says. Democrats and Republicans. That's what I'm saying about the fucking elites, the global fucking corporate elite. They, I mean, mainly controlled by the U.S. corporate elite, but the power elite who wants trade, international trade, to be unrestricted. That's what it all fucking comes down to. Bunch of billionaires trying to make more money for themselves. That's one of their main fucking causes after making sure unions get absolutely nowhere. Crushing unions any chance they get. Oh yeah, there's no way the CIA wasn't aware of Epstein. Totally. Yeah, I did see Fuentes worried it was one of his guys. I mean, it could have been. It totally could have been. What I'm saying is, I just think it's annoying when people are like already 100% sure before they've done any research. Yeah, gang, guys, I'm having a good time. I feel like I've been more articulate than usual on this stream. I don't really know why, but I've been having fun. But I feel like it's about time that I shuffled off this mortal stream coil. And don't worry, I'm not dying. I don't know why I said it like that, but I think that will be the end of the stream. But thank you all for watching. And yeah, I don't know. I'm going to once again say, hey, come in to the gob cord. Brow, clap. No, one man apple. No, you didn't blow us off course. That's exactly where we were going. That's the course we were on. Actually, I think when I got into this, I had just finished talking about the last thing. Oh, Collargate. Do I think Israel has something to do with it? Very funny stuff. Okay, very briefly. 100% bullshit. And yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe not Israel, but maybe like people who are Zionist. Yeah. One of the most obvious psyops I've seen in a long time. And it's against fucking Hassan, who, you know, is one of the most public anti-Zionists. Like, if Israel was going to kill Charlie Kirk, why didn't they kill Hassan? Hassan was much worse for their cause.